2024 was a year, but what really happened in that year? It's actually kind of hard to keep track. I feel like a dementia patient in a ward because so many memes and so many trends and so many happenings all occur. And then a couple days later, another happening, and you kind of forget the last happening. There's a YouTuber called Ordinary Things, and he basically went over everything that happened in 2024, the good and the bad. And there was definitely a lot more bad than good. I love Ordinary Things. I think he's such a good YouTuber. I think his videos are so good. He's definitely one of the best UK channels out there.
2024 was the year where the real world and the internet finally merged in a head-on collision between incoming traffic. It was the year of brain rot, missed shots, and failed plots. Sometimes it looked like we were rocketing into the future. Other times it looked like we'd been launched back.
It's a glaze? No, he genuinely puts some of the most amount of effort into YouTube videos that I've ever seen. Like, he goes around interviewing people and stuff and actually doing research. He's a very talented creator.
Back to the Crusades. It was the year of too many elections as the people clambered for change, tyrants were hung out to dry, and incumbents clung on by their fingertips. Culture shifted as the internet curb-stomped the pre-digital world into a bloody pulp of entrails and scarf cables. It was prime time for war crimes, brain worms.
You know what the funny thing is that he's doing right here? He's doing a recap of 2024. I guarantee that he got this idea from Charlie Brooker. Charlie Brooker created Black Mirror, and Charlie Brooker did a series called Weekly Wipe and Yearly Wipe. And it was basically a compilation of him sitting down, talking about all the events that happened throughout the year. And, okay, everyone on Earth has done that. Everyone on Earth has done that. But the point I'm making is the way that Charlie Brooker delivered it was in such like kind of a cynical, mean tone. And I think that, well, a cynical, like kind of jester tone, I guess. But that's like what he's trying to capture here as well. If anyone remembers this, if anyone remembers Charlie Brooker Weekly Wipe, you get an old head certificate. But yeah, this guy wrote, he wrote Black Mirror as well. He basically created Black Mirror when it was on Channel 4, back when it was good, before it got sold off to Soyflix. But yeah, very, very talented guy.
Gluttony and goonery. Artificial intelligence vomited from our screens and onto our streets. Billion-dollar media conglomerates were eclipsed by morons mouthing off into road mics. It was the annum for assassinations. Failed, successful, and...
I wonder what would happen in the timeline if Trump actually got one-tapped. That would be... like, would there be, like, civil war? What would actually happen there? It's so weird to think. I mean, I get it. Nothing ever happens. I was thinking that. I was thinking nothing ever happens. Because nothing ever happens.
Questionable. Musicians were exposed as deviants. Hollywood celebrities wasted away and...
Oh yeah, that Ozempic stuff. That's so dangerous, man. That's so dangerous. It's crazy. Like, Ozempic's always, like, really confused me. Because I always thought it would help you lose weight. But all it does, it's literally an appetite suppressant. So it's what models have been doing for years. Like models, like French models and that, they just have a coffee, they'd have an espresso, and they'd have a cigarette. Like, that's what I do every morning, just without the cigarette, because I don't smoke. But I just drink so much, like, caffeine and stuff. But, like, all it does is kill your appetite. That's it. But what it also does is, which is really dangerous, it eats away your muscle mass as well. So apparently you've got to work out like a Trojan if you're on Ozempic, because if not, you'll get massive muscle atrophy. And I remember seeing that post of Elon Musk dressed as Santa, and he admitted he was on a... I think... Who was on Ozempic that people talked about? H3H3? There's no proof behind it whatsoever. I just saw people talking about it on his subreddit because people on Reddit just think that they know everything. But Ethan lost an insane amount of weight. Like, he looks good now, but he looks like he shed half his body weight in, like, 3 months. Which is insane. It might be old pictures. He looks better for it, but yeah, it's just insane how quick Ozempic is at weight loss.
And viral stars became house.
Yeah, because I follow him on Instagram, and I never use Instagram. So I opened up my phone to check my DMs, because it's weird how my brain's wired. Like, I use Twitter, but I don't use Instagram. I'm sure Elon will be happy to hear that. And then I opened it, and I got recommended a post from him, and I was like, oh, let's see what Ethan's been up to. I just scrolled through my feed, and I'm like, he was really fucking fat. And then he lost all that in, like, 4 months? What the hell?
Household names. Facts were overruled by authentic.
He's not on Ozempic? I never said he was. There's no proof. I've just seen people talk about it. But, like, that losing that amount of weight that quickly is incredible.
Memes made money, Boeing got bumpy, and the Middle East got spicy. The horror was too much, while others indulged in ironic detachment, dancing to the beat of their own apathy. For me, this year provoked a lot of inner turmoil. As the old world burned, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to run away or roast marshmallows. Tragedy and comedy mashed together so thoroughly that they produced an incestuous dumpster demon baby, and I didn't know if I wanted to adopt it or conduct a post-birth abortion. But for now, we turn 360 back to January, because that's where the year started.
You said 360 made it green. Is that a Charlie reference? Dude, I can't believe that Charlie and young Lean are like best friends. That was such a mind-blowing thing for me.
January turned out to be a month.
Just the chud jack. Nothing ever happens button. Nothing happens.
Of near misses, close call calamities, and almost events, confirming.
I like how it's nothing ever happens like it's a bad thing. Like World War III didn't happen. Okay, nothing ever happens. It's like you've got people that are just sat on Discord all day and they're just that bored with their lives that they want some kind of like national tragedy so they can actually realize, okay, something's happening.
The internet's mantra that nothing. In Paris, revelers rang in the new year, preferring to experience it through the medium of their phone screen. This moment filled me with enough anti-tech rage that I swapped in my smartphone for a low-tech alternative. Trust me, pages are going to blow up in a big way this year. Meanwhile, at a house party in Birmingham, Alabama,
I was very scared that was Birmingham, England. They look very British.
This guy spoke for all of us, trapped by the unceasing march of time.
You're meant to fry it? Yeah, I know, but like you can eat it raw.
But also by the confines of this decorative earth.
Look at those hairlines. Good God in heaven. Good Lord in heaven.
I'm doing everything I fucking can!
On the 2nd of January, South Korean leader of the opposition, Lee Jae-myung, was subject to an attempted assassination, narrowly surviving a knife to the neck. An incident that took on grander what-if significance when Lee had a bigger brush with almost history at the end of the year, but calm down, we've got another 11 months to go. In another nearly terrible time, an Alaska Airlines plane got one wall panel lighter when part of its fuselage came loose during a flight. No one was killed, but
I saw a video showing how like Boeing engineers fix their jets, and it was David Attenborough watching a monkey just like try to hammer a nail into wood and just missing every single time.
Many precious possessions were lost, as one passenger reported his phone, socks, and shoes were sucked off during the unscheduled skydive. The incident shone a light on the shortcomings of Boeing airplane
Nothing ever happens? Okay, because no one died, nothing happened, by the way.
construction, something that would continue to crash the public consciousness. In other nearly news, police in the Papua New Guinea capital of Port Moresby staged a protest over a sudden 50% cut to their wages. Citizens from the city and the surrounding countryside reacted by going fucking mental, torching the town and looting everything that wasn't nailed down. Prime Minister James Marape declared a state of emergency and reversed the public sector pay cut.
I like how whenever there's like public looting and stuff, I mean, not applying here, but like more in like the UK and America, after it happens, when the police manage to like isolate individual people and arrest them, they just have so much guilt and remorse because they're not part of like the herd mentality anymore. It's like, wait, we're the bad guys?
Blaming it on a computer glitch. My pager would never do anything like that. Mwah. At points, it did look like something was happening, but things quieted down after these non-events of historical insignificance ceased to stop not happening. Nothing.
Are we watching Aiden Ross? Are you for real? He looks nothing like Aiden Ross. He's not even sniffing a seat that Andrew Tate sat on.
Nothing continued to happen in the year's first election, as Taiwan went to the polls and voted the incumbent party back in for a third consecutive term.
Nothing happens.
Lai Ching-te was elected president, beating West Taiwan's preferred candidate. Lai's party champions Taiwan's separate identity and rejects China's territorial claims. In response, China said it would not give up on achieving reunification, continuing their consecutive 74th year of promising to invade Taiwan and then never getting round to it. Then, on January 9th, nothing happened again in Ecuador, as heavily
It's like people breaking into a news set with guns, and he prefaces it by saying nothing happened.
armed gangsters stormed a major television studio. It was one of a series of coordinated attacks across the country as organized crime groups declared war on the country's president.
Dude, the sun could be you could get the news tomorrow that the sun is going to engulf the entire Earth in 3 days, and I swear the top tweet would be nothing happens.
Where hostages were taken in hospitals and prisons in scenes that did look suspiciously like something was happening. But looks...
Is this the bit he's doing the whole video? He's got a machete to his neck, and you're saying nothing's happening.
Something was happening.
Wait, something was happening? He says with like a... Why have they all got like their mum's kitchen knife as well, man? Jesus.
But looks can be deceiving as government forces regain control of state institutions after declaring an internal state of war.
I do think the nothing ever happens bit, I'm assuming it came from 4chan, right? Like Poll or something. But it's like, it's funny because it literally is the concept of like, I need something very bad to happen right now so I can talk about it. Something absolutely evil. I need many people to be killed live on TV so I can talk about it. Wait, the hostages were rescued? They didn't get shot? Nothing ever happens.
Actually does seem to be ongoing since last I checked. Ecuador was plagued by violence and several high-profile assassinations throughout the year. As it turns out, stuff kind of does happen, just not always in the places that internet apathy merchants are paying attention to. Well, with all that unimportant shit out of the way, January, really, to me, was a tale of two holes. In Chicago, one tiny hole gained worldwide attention when it went viral on Twitter.
Chicago rat hole. How did that happen? I mean, nothing happens, but how did that happen? It looks like a frog. Dude, it looks like the bullfrog logo. What the hell? Remember theme? Hang on. The bullfrog logo? It looks like that. What the hell? They made Theme Park World. I played that as a kid. That is actually the same. That is genuinely the same fucking thing. That's crazy.
January, really, to me, was a tale of two holes.
It looks nothing like it. Yeah, fair enough.
In Chicago, one tiny hole gained worldwide attention when it went viral on Twitter.
But what I found was very much more like Looney Tunes, I guess. Just a full rat splat mark in the wet pavement. I just bust out laughing when I saw it.
Having already existed for at least a decade, the internet decided 2024 was the year of the rat hole. Pilgrims flocked to Chicago's mystery vermin vent, wondering who was this mysterious rat? Where is he now? What are we all doing here? And don't any of us have any jobs? Well, apparently not. As Chicago...
They're just leaving coins and Doritos. Did someone put washing up liquid in there? Is that a stick of gum? Nice.
Chicago's altar to the absent rodent was surrounded...
In memory of Chimney, Comic Sans. Just left in Marlboro.
...with gift-giving men...
Oh, not the Zins. Oh, God. We've reached a new low. You're leaving out bottles of alcohol in American streets and no one's taking that? I don't believe that for a second.
Bringing booze, rubber ducks, booze, and Zins. And apparently with nothing better to do, the local Chamber of Commerce started accepting submissions for official names, with favourites including Lil Stucky, the Roscoe Road Dent, and the winner, Splattertooey. But it was another hole in Crown Heights, New York, that really set the internet on fire that month.
I just know for a fact that was one of the most popular GIFs on Discord for like a straight month.
In a scene lifted directly from Hitler's own meth-addled brain right before he used it to paint the walls of his bunker the color of cranberries, a group of yeshiva students were filmed treating the New York subway system like a clown car. The moment mystified internet...
I forgot about this. No, I actually forgot about the Jew tunnels. It's just such a bizarre...
onlookers who wanted to know what the fuck was going on. The answer was somehow more batshit insane than the clip itself. It turns out the synagogue...
The story went away too fast. That's actually a good point. Like, no one talked about it.
Adjacent to the hole had been hollowed out illegally. The result of a 30-year internal dispute between the umbrella organization that owned the synagogue and the smaller, crazier offshoot organization that ran it day to day. These guys basically believed that their dead rabbi, this guy, was actually the son of God. And for reasons, he wanted to have the synagogue expanded. Hence the creepy underground tunnel complete with staunch tunnel-dwelling defenders. when the Umbrella organization hired construction workers to replace the tunnel's creepy vibes with concrete, all hell broke loose. When this video was recorded, the police had already arrived, forcing the men to exit at street level in a scene that would have
Moving furniture is a gesture of anger.
been deleted from Nazi propaganda films due to being a little on the nose.
I think the story itself isn't very interesting, but just seeing a Jewish man climbing out of a tunnel, there's just something so bizarre about that. Like it's like a lightning striking twice moment. You will just never see that in your life.
February offered us some bold new visions for the future, but they were the kind of visions you might experience after thumbing your limp dick into a Tesla supercharge port. In San Francisco, the future wasn't for everyone, as Chinatown celebrated the Lunar New Year by setting fire to a Waymo autonomous car. In Las Vegas,
They've got these like rollerballs now in China that patrol the streets, you know. I wonder, he'll probably talk about it in this video.
a self-described pro-life Spider-Man crawled to the top of the Las Vegas sphere of selling shit, claiming he was performing the climb in order to raise money to prevent a homeless woman from getting an abortion. Meanwhile, in LA, another sky-high eye offender went viral as the abandoned Oceanside Plaza was transformed into the world's tallest bathroom wall. Construction was halted on the project when developers ran out of money, so local graffiti artists
Crypto.com arena. What a great arena to have there. Just crypto.com.
transformed the unfinished waste of vertical space into a concrete middle finger to corporate crap.
I think I'm actually going to invest in crypto again this year. I might do it. I bought a wallet that arrives pretty soon, an offline wallet. If anyone wants to give me financial advice, just DM me on Twitter, show me your portfolio, and I'll 100% believe you and take you under my wing.
On February 2nd, the Apple Vision Pro went on sale. A mixed reality operating system, or a face prison for bored, cash-rich dads that want to covertly watch Lily Phillips videos at family gatherings. For the next week, the $3,000 device would appear in the wild.
They've stopped making those now, I think. I don't think you can buy them anymore. Maybe you can, but I think they're not planning on making any more, because apparently the profit margins for it was just so horrendously bad.
On the subway, in coffee shops, and on the streets of London.
All I'm saying is, guaranteed, there will definitely be someone that is watching porn on a plane when doing that. 100%. If that has not already happened as a story, it definitely will soon. Thank you, SN9 for the 5. Have you seen the Harley Quinn fart comic? I have. It's based.
And then seemingly it vanished from existence entirely. Either
I'm annoyed at Critical for not making a jab at me in that video.
people realized that they look like pathetic corporate drones incapable of human interaction, or every
In 4
single
hours, when you finish this video message, you're about to say you're playing Messiah. That is how I will find out I am shagging her. Shove your 1,000 up here.
Yeah, shut up, Paul. You didn't give 1K.
person who was vision proing al fresco simply walked straight into an open sewer, and no one has reported them missing because no one noticed their absence or loved them in the first place. Election watch! In El Salvador, the internet's favorite authoritarian and...
Does he know who you are? Yeah, I talked to him on Discord a little bit. Like, literally 2 interactions.
D-tier Far Cry villain won his second election with an historic margin.
Está violando derechos humanos. ¿Los derechos humanos de quién? ¿De la gente honrada? No. Tal vez pusimos prioridad en los derechos de la gente honrada sobre los derechos de los delincuentes.
Nayib Bukele claimed to have crushed the opposition, and he also crushed it with his outfit choice, choosing a casual off-white long-sleeve tee to contrast the opulence of his presidential balcony. Bukele is the textbook example of what the global voting public has shown all-out enthusiasm for this year. The tech-fueled, do shit, break shit, rule book shredding strongman silly boy.
I'm not joking. I paid £40 a ticket for this.
This confirmed to me, like, you should never visit Scotland. I never had any intention of visiting Scotland, but this just sealed the deal for me. I think I did an insomnia event up in there. I'd never go again.
On the 24th of February,
Like, you wonder why everyone in the UK is, like, miserable and they're all making videos crying and they want to leave. There's nothing here. This is awful, but it's probably the happiest day out that these people have had in months.
February, an unlicensed Willy Wonka rip-off event in an industrial park on the outskirts of Glasgow
Scotland, Ireland, but boring.
was so shitty
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
that someone called the police. It was closed just a few hours after opening, but footage of the event went so viral that those hours were stretched into an infinity of social media special interest. The original website that enticed parents was a nauseating gargle of AI-generated imagery.
Look, the words at the bottom aren't even real, bro. Depractions, dejection, viv sounds, enig, emic sounds, impretty, Twilight Tunnel, Imagination Lab.
And obvious spelling mistakes, enchanting people with the possibility of carchety tons, cacketing.
The fact that they didn't even fix that in post, like you could have opened up MS Paint, rubbed that out, and actually just typed out the words, like lazy bastard.
And a paradise of sweet teats. On arrival, the AI-fueled fuckery didn't end.
I remember that girl who played that little monster. What was it, The Unknown or something? Like, she made like a whole TikTok just saying how it was all a scam.
The basically empty warehouse was noticeably devoid of chocolatey teats or of anything that might entertain a child. But a handful of recently hired and obviously
Sweet teats.
embarrassed actors attempted to engage them by riffing on an AI-generated script that they'd been given mere days before. This off-brand Oompa
Didn't Charlie use that for his thumbnail? Maybe I did. Oh, it's just so depressing.
Loompa became a focal point for internet onlookers, who memed her into oblivion. But credit where credit is due, it did deliver on the original Willy Wonka factory's capacity to totally terrify the children who visited.
What is that? It's the unknown.
I love how iconic that clip is. What is that? It's the unknown. And then the little kid going, yeah.
Blame ultimately fell to the Willy Wanker who organized the event, Billy Cool, a serial entrepreneur with an established history of using AI-generated content to inflate his fake.
He was quite weird. I remember he did like an interview. Well, he didn't do an interview. He did like a video afterwards, and he was like, he was operating on like 9 layers of irony. It was just very bizarre.
Credentials.
I couldn't even tell what his accent was.
Publishing 17 AI-generated books the previous summer in an effort to pitch himself as an established author.
When did I say inflate?
The story of Billy and his crappy chocolate factory became a cultural flashpoint for generative AI. Its reputation stalled as the Silicon Valley hype train ran out of steam, leaving grifters to begin looting it for parts in March. March was a month for ego
Inflate?
error and over.
I like how I say inflate and the background is blue now. That's very bad timing. A blue background like a blueberry. Crazy. And we're talking about Willy Wonka. Wow, that's crazy.
Confidence as people faked it, made it, and fucked it. Google's AI division came under scrutiny for its many, many failures, when this guy's question about Gemini made them look like a bunch of boobs. Javier Milei fired his Secretary of Labor on live TV in a bid to blow back backdraft from his own salary increase. And Kamala Harris clapped along to a bunch of protesters protesting her before realizing what was going on.
We're Costco guys. Of course
Please God, let me escape this family. Please God.
we go shopping while eating a chicken.
Why are his eyelashes so long? Why are his eyelashes so long? I know he's like 2, but look, what the hell? He looks like Tony Soprano.
We're Costco guys. Of course
He has the the dad has the most feminine eyelashes I've seen in my life.
we had to try the new double
Actually mogs most women.
chunk chocolate cookie.
On March 1st, we were all introduced to the Costco guys. And if you're anything like me, they were introduced
Patrick Star eyelashes.
to you in the same way that a camera is introduced
You critical mass, the 24.
to you during a colonoscopy. The father-son catchphrase comedy duo of AJ and Big Justice would inexplicably become
Big chungus.
the viral phenomenon of 2024. Their only competition.
The fact that they didn't fall off is a testament, man. Like, they fought tooth and nail to make sure that they were not a one-bit Andy. I mean, they are one bit, but they're still relevant. Like, they definitely fought. They hit up those managers and those collabs and stuff. It's crazy.
Really being the spitting suck job cowgirl, the slimy sentient fleshlight, and John Wilkes botched it over here. Okay, there was another pretty significant viral star of this year, but you're going to have to wait till December before we can talk about him. Despite looking like a hernia that someone has drawn eyebrows on, people just couldn't get enough of AJ and his son Eric, aka Big Justice.
Is Costco food actually good? We've got a couple in the UK. Apparently the food's like really cheap and it's banging.
I'm not...
But like, I just don't have a Costco near me, so there's no point. Because I feel like, because you need to pay to get into a Costco, I feel like the entire point of you paying is so you never leave and you only shop there.
Going to make fun of Eric's appearance. He is a child, but rest assured I hate him too. But is my hatred of these two in any way justified?
The pizzas are greasy. Yeah, it's just most fast food pizzas, to be fair.
Probably not. After all, I am a hater by trade, but I do find the unadulterated...
How many Costco's are in the UK? Probably like 70, right? $29? God, there's none. There's actually none. Is there one in Birmingham?
Adulterated adulation that these two have received kind of baffling. They first burrowed into our mutual mind vault by jumping on the oh-so-relatable...
That's AI. I mean, the AI tends to yoink from pre-existing articles. So...
We're one thing, so of course...
And then claim it's AI.
We do this other thing trend.
Is there a way you can turn that off, by the way? Because I really don't like having that as the first result on Google.
On TikTok. An incredibly repetitive and lazy trend that quickly ran out its welcome. Unlike the Costco guys themselves, of course, who continued to court favor by rating Costco items on their iconic boom or doom meter very, very loudly.
Boom or doom?
Okay, now the Rizzler actually looks like Tony Soprano. That's wild.
Chicken bake?
Or a double chunk chocolate cookie?
I'm gonna have to give the chicken bake the boom and the double chunk chocolate a doom. You heard it from the Rizzler.
They would somehow spin this bit into a whole family-sized extended universe of music, merch, and
It is insane how well they played that off, though. Damn. Oh, yeah, because the dad was apparently like a wrestler before he blew up and stuff, so he already had the physique in that.
Wrestling appearances.
Just give it
0 for a 2024 phenomenon that I call wholesome grifting. A brain rot adjacent practice of capitalizing on your immediate underdog status as a viral sensation and riding it all the way to the bank. There is sort of a big justice in being able to capitalize on that, you know?
He said big justice. Why is it so blue in this room, man? It's so blue.
Like, it costs a lot to be immediately recognizable, and there kind of should be some kind of monetary reward for that. I think that's what this wholesome grifting thing is all about. Internet audiences understand that, and they want you to succeed, and yeah, we'll see a lot of people attempt to capitalize on that this year. We live in a time of unlimited information, where nothing goes unnoticed, where an absence of immediate answers gets filled by speculation and comment section conspiracies.
Did you see the Polish Putin movie that was announced? It's apparently the first movie to use AI for a main character. What? Really? That's hilarious.
Or on that, we turn to our resident bad stuff happening to boats correspondent, internet historian.
On March 26th, the Dali cargo ship was leaving the port of Baltimore in the early hours of the morning. Its cargo,
dog food? I'll be honest, I don't know what it is. I could not tell you what that is. It's like, it's got chicken. I think it's mostly sweet potato and chicken.
hello, love.
Look. It doesn't even look bad. Okay, that looks pretty bad. That looks pretty bad from that angle. Look, it's chicken and it's spinach, and it's like sweet potato and stuff as well. There's like a chicken there. Yeah, okay, it actually looks like slop. It's really nice though, but it does look like slop. It does look like slop.
5,000 shipping containers.
If we go more than 3 months in
Then
2025
the lights
and
went
Costco guys are still a thing,
Total
I
power
will
failure.
cry.
Oh
Can
no!
they pull a hot coin,
But then the
start or
lights came
something,
back
and get
on.
booed off the
Oof.
internet?
But
Please
then
kill
black
me now.
smoke starts fuming from... Oh. And then the lights went out again. At this point, the ship is moving at a blistering, face-shredding, eye mucus ejecting pace, 9 miles per hour. It is on a direct collision course with the bottom bits of the Francis...
What if I put this on 144p? Could you even tell what's going on? Dear God, it's actually worse.
Scott Bridge.
It actually looks better on 144p. No,
The
it
crew
doesn't.
quickly tells port officials that something has gone wrong, and they request a tugboat. They also give them time to stop traffic from driving onto the bridge. But they are unable to change course. The ship plows into one of the bridge's pylons, causing it to snap like an uncooked piece of spaghetti when you bend it at both ends, you know.
Yo! What the?
Isn't it funny where we're going to get a generation of people now that will film something like that, and then they'll quickly turn the camera around to themselves at the instance that there is a slight chance they could actually become famous from it?
No shot! No shot!
Now, any sensible person would see this as nothing.
No shot! Chat, is this cap? Dude, what does Kai Cenat think? Will this affect Aiden Ross?
More than a tragic accident. An accident that might require a little more investigation for negligence or neglect. But if you zoom the footage in really, really close until it gets all pixelated and you can't really see anything, then maybe you saw what I did too. Foul play. Within a few hours of it all happening.
The ship was cyber attacked. Okay. This is Andrew Tate saying this, right? Take it with 7 handfuls of salt. Lights go off and it deliberately steers towards the bridge life supports. Foreign agents, the USA, attacked digital infrastructures. Nothing is safe. Black Swan event imminent. See, he'll say something like this, and then he'll just call you gay afterwards. Or he'll post a video of him lifting 2 kg dumbbells on his yacht.
The Tate estate put out a word claiming it was a cyber attack and that the ship was deliberately steered towards the bridge. General Michael Flynn also logged on to suggest that there were sinister forces at work. So very quickly, the general sentiment was that everybody agreed. This is a black swan event, everybody. A phrase coined and popularized by this book, by the way, which is not about accidental bridge collapses or black swans, as it turns out. Oh, I found this other book, which is very nice. It's about this duckling, and he wasn't liked by everybody, but he grew up and everything was great at him. Anyway, before we know what happens, first we're looking around for people to blame. So Utah State Rep Phil Lyman suggests, have you noticed we appointed this black lady to the position of power at the Baltimore port? Maybe this is the real problem. But these need...
It's so genius. Like, you just have to make it into a political thing. Yeah. Like, even he's laughing at
this
that.
black lady to the position of power.
So we had a bridge collapse. It must be the black people.
At the Baltimore port. Maybe this is the real problem.
Twitter should not be free. You should pay for it. Like, that would filter out so many morons, genuinely. It would filter out all the pores.
But these knee-jerk conspiracy assessments were not...
Not only is she black, she's a woman. That's double points. The bridge definitely collapsed because of her.
...confined to social media. For example, this Fox News anchor who suggested it was the wide-open border to the south of the country that caused the ship to crash.
The ship involved in the collapse of the bridge is 948 feet long, called the Dolly, a Singaporean flag container. But of course, you've been talking a lot about the potential for wrongdoing or potential for foul play given the wide open border.
Now here's the great thing about the year 2024. You can still go on television and tell everyone you're not an expert And that kind of gives you carte blanche to just say whatever.
Yeah, okay, that's true. I've noticed people that always say, I'm not an expert, I'm not educated. You will just say the most moronic statement and you use it as like a shield against you.
You know, I'm no expert on what's going on the seas, but all I would say is that if you talk to...
I'm not an expert, then you shut up. Does not give you like the credibility to say like some bizarre, deranged, unhinged statement. And then be like, oh, well, I'm not an expert. I'm just being silly.
Employers in America, they'll tell you that filling slots with employees who aren't drug-addled is a very huge problem. So I'm making no specific charges here because we don't know.
Right.
It actually takes a few months to investigate something before you can really provide any answers about what happened, especially when it's so technical and complex. And even at the time of recording, we don't really have a complete picture of what happened. The National Transportation Safety Board released a 41-page report on the crash in September, and that featured new details about the technical failures that led to the crash. But these are not totally conclusive either, and nor did anyone pay attention when this report was released in September. By then, the internet had moved on. They were totally fixated on this slimy little handbag in waiting, who everyone had decided, inexplicably, was actually the cutest thing ever. Moo Deng.
In another thing that happened, the de-skinned head...
I don't even get why Moo Deng became popular, I'll be honest, guys. I don't get that at all.
...of Thomas Aquinas was photographed riding shotgun en route to the Fossa Nova Abbey in Italy. Personally, this image sparked a new interest for me in Catholicism, which I didn't realise was so fucking metal. Lucky for me, in the same month, Donald Trump had resorted to selling some patriotic Bibles to pay off his mounting legal fees.
You remember when Trump was selling baseball cards of himself and NFTs?
And I think you all should get a copy of God...
Fucking Trump Holy Bible? Are you trolling? I want to buy that. I actually want to buy that.
Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others.
I would buy that, genuinely.
There you have it.
So in preparation for Easter, I decided to...
And the worst thing is, by buying that Bible, it would basically devalue all the other Bibles I have in my house. I got like 3 lying around in this room.
...cynically convert to hardcore evangelical Christianity, so I too could sell shit by suggesting the world was coming to an end.
The trolley Bible.
In April, the internet burned with symbolic imagery suggesting that our Lord and Saviour's return was imminent, but everyone reacted with an indifferent flick of their thumb. In London, horses painted red charged unrestrained through the streets in a low-budget biblical omen so hackneyed that we barely noticed. In Copenhagen, the old world burned and everyone yawned. Haven't we seen this one already?
Say adding a paywall to Twitter would filter out the dumb pause like anyone smart would pay to use Twitter. You just have a concentrated amount of rich dumb people.
I pay for Twitter. I don't know why. I need to cancel that, actually. It gives me no benefit whatsoever. It's like paying for Discord Nitro. Like, oh, you get a GIF profile picture. Gay! Like, no one cares.
Paris a few years back. Whichever malevolent spirit is in charge of setting up these foreboding omens really needs to get some new material. In Taiwan, the earth moved beneath us as God warned us of our transgressions. But no one paid attention because we were all watching this guy eat an unholy amount of cheese balls. In New York, hundreds...
Why was this guy even a bit? This has to be like... This meme lasted shorter than montage parodies. This lasted like a full day.
Gathered to watch as this guy stuffed cheese balls into his head hole. At one point, it looked like he was going to spew those balls back up onto the pavement, but the crowd spurred him on, giving him enough psychic power to continue his grim task.
Paula Pyro, have you seen the Pusher film trailer?
Hallelujah!
It is set in place Denmark in place Copenhagen. It's about heroin dealing and it's all in Danish, so you have to watch with subtitles on. It would make a good main channel video.
I haven't seen it, but I know it's got Mads Mikkelsen in it.
He finished the jar to the crowd's delight. Given it was a public park anywhere in America, people screaming about the apocalypse were probably being ignored somewhere just off camera. In fact, they were only a few blocks away. as protesters at Columbia University were indeed camping out to protest a genocide that was going on in the Holy Land. Pro-Palestine protests swept across America's college campuses, starting in Columbia. Similar campouts followed at Cal Poly, Harvard, and UT Austin, provoking a typically Texan response from the state's public safety officers. Although one student seemed totally unconcerned, choosing to selfishly spend his time at
Why does that guy look like Luigi Mangione?
college studying instead. I too was indifferent. Having conveniently converted to American-style evangelical Christianity for the month of April, I saw no problem with Israel's ongoing massacre. In fact, any violence in the Middle East gets me fucking jacked because it only confirms my belief that the Left Behind-style apocalypse is just around the corner. I'm much more worried about who's allowed in public bathrooms that I don't use and what children are watching on the internet.
New main channel video where? Should be out tomorrow.
In Russia, Skibidi Toilet made an unexpectedly large splash.
That sentence, wow, that sentence really caught me off guard there.
Reaching the arseholes in local Russian government. The Legislative Assembly watched the video with serious concern after police investigated whether the toilet man was indoctrinating their children. Meanwhile, Skibidi Toilet lookalike Bashar al-Assad wasn't in the news at all in April.
He actually looks like a skinny G-man. That's actually a good point.
Despite the
Skibidi Toilet look-alike
release of a detailed report showing mass death and torture going on under his regime.
I'm taking the
Okay, this guy's definitely inspired by Charlie Brooker. That was way too good a joke for a YouTuber.
plunge. I'm getting baptized.
In the same month, Russell Brand announced his own conversion to Christianity, using the religion and its many gullible cohorts to cushion his fall from...
I swear Russell will, like, convert to anything that means he gets out of trouble with the last group that he pissed off.
...grace after a recent sex scandal. Lucky for him, Jesus forgives everyone, even aging grifters running on the fumes of being funny sometime in 2009. And in Nigeria, over 100 inmates blessed the rains down in Africa when a downpour wrecked their prison's perimeter wall, releasing them early. It's a shame the weather in Dubai wasn't as kind. On the 15th of April,
it's like prop hunt in real life.
The United Arab Emirates experienced record drowning rainfall in the most Schadenfreude-inducing natural disaster of the year, proving that if God is mad at us, at least he has a sense of humor and a sense of proportion as he flooded the one city that really deserved it. As our modern Sodom, without any of the stuff that made Sodom fun to begin with, it was kind of gratifying to see the cracks in Dubai's gaudy, soulless architecture laid bare. The city's inadequate drainage system and extensive flat concrete surfaces kept water where it fell. Thousands of flights were cancelled, and those that did arrive were taxiing for hours in the flooded airport. It was literally the perfect storm, as it coincided with two major crypto conferences taking place in Dubai that week.
That's hilarious.
Meaning that hundreds of flushed out crypto goons were there to document the kind of liquidity that hitherto they'd only had wet dreams about. Influencer Jordan Welsh recorded himself in a waterlogged Rolls Royce. This guy showed off his engineering skills, attempting to...
Could you actually imagine the amount of crypto bros stuck there that would, like, they would literally get a picture. They would take a picture of, like, the flooding, and then they'd make sure to have their wrist in shot as well, showing off their Rolex.
Funnel the water leaking into his hotel room into the bathroom.
They're like, guys, this is so sad. Oh, yo.
Welcome to Dubai.
You do have to give...
Welcome to Dubai. Did he tied his shoes around his neck because they're probably more expensive.
Welcome to Dubai.
You do have to...
Why does his... Okay, his facial hair looks more tattooed on than Fuzi's hairline. What is that?
To Dubai.
You do have
That's crazy.
to give these guys some props, though. Their undying
Everyone in chat just saying, Dubai.
optimism does just seem to keep working out for them. People were filming this guy blow his Tesla through the floodwater, and they all thought he was fucked.
He's Australian. Cope.
But Mr. Spread proved them all wrong, posting the footage from inside his car as he came away mostly unwashed, forcing a free-word community note correction on the original.
Dubai now, brave soul. He does not make it. He made it. Source. God, people like that just lie for engagement. You know what the worst thing is? Okay, like, have you guys seen that tweet that got me like 500,000 likes? Have you seen it? This is genuinely my most liked tweet that I've ever made. I'll see if I can pull it up. I'm pretty sure most of you have probably like seen this by now. Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up. I post some funny tweets. You guys should follow me. Like the Spider-Man thing, just being smiling friends. Christmas dinner. Oh, it's this one. Yeah, so this guy made a tweet saying, I speak for all men when I say we do not like women built like this. And I quit. Yeah, 12k likes. And then I quoted him and basically just said, you're gay. And it got like 600, like nearly the best part of 1 million likes, which is wild. But it's so obvious that this guy was engagement farming. Because this guy, even though he only got 12k likes, probably got like a couple million views on his post, if not tens of millions. Because my post got 28 million views. So he definitely would have got a huge chunk of that of people being rage bait. So yeah, it's just, how much did you get paid? I don't get paid anything. I never set up my Stripe account with Twitter. I didn't get paid for it. I'm not, like, I feel like unless you're like an end wokeness Twitter account, you're going to be paid peanuts anyway. I'll be honest, that tweet, if I got paid, it probably would have maybe like $100. And I'll probably never have a tweet that gets that big in my entire life again. So.
Video. In keeping with Dubai's general vibe.
Not inflated enough? No, I called him gay. I was saying he was wrong.
Its richest inhabitants took absolutely no note of the horrible shit happening around them, and only saw it as an opportunity to flex on everyone. When God gives you floods, crack out the jet skis. Oh, what judgment God hath rendered upon this city of sin.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak did like a speech in the rain for some reason. I guess we're about to feel sorry for him. It's really weird.
May was a month for childish misbehavior, as people...
He got 43 mil. If I made like a lot of money on Twitter, you would literally see me tweet as much as like Midas, like every like 12 seconds or something. But yeah, that's just... I'm not seeing any money off it, so I'll tweet when I want to, and that's pretty much it.
Attention by throwing tantrums and flashing their bathroom bits. A portal opened between New York...
Oh my god, I remember this. I like how all this stuff feels like it's centuries old, even though this was literally just back in May.
...and Dublin, as an interactive installation created by a Lithuanian artist allowed people in both cities to offend one another without audio. In an attempt...
Well, the biggest mistake they made is making a link to Dublin. Like, what do you think was going to happen?
To secure the all-important 12-year-olds living in the late 1970s vote, Joe Biden wheeled out Mark Hamill for a special appearance at the White House.
That's pretty much it. I'm open to questions, although no Star Wars questions, please.
This would become a running...
He just goes... just starts throwing laughing gas at everyone.
Theme for the Democrats this year, securing the endorsement of aging and out-of-touch celebrities.
I'm really disappointed that he's never going to voice the Joker again, because he said when Kevin Conroy died, he'd never voice the Joker.
Well, you know, I called him Mr. President. He said, you can call me Joe. And I said, can I call you Joe B1 Kenobi?
Meanwhile, Chapel Roan rejected an...
I don't even care that he was Luke, man. I care more about him as the Joker, genuinely.
...invitation to perform...
I wish he acknowledged that more.
...at the White House for Pride Month, telling the White House to HOTTO, go fuck yourself, citing the administration's continued support for Israel as her reason for declining the event.
Chonkler. Why? There's something so funny about Chinese news reports because they genuinely speak so quickly. It's actually like watching a TikTok on 2x speed.
A Taiwanese lawmaker played a game of keep away with a piece of legislation before President-elect Lai Ching-do was set to take office. What followed was a series of playground scuffles, including shoving, tackling, and shoulder...
Wait, is that Chinese? Are they speaking Chinese or am I racist? I actually don't know. Is that Portuguese? It looks like Chinese. But it could be Taiwanese.
Barging.
Damn. That's loud.
And that boat finally
That's
was
loud. Greatest observation there. Thank you, Big Justice.
dislodged from that bridge after 2 months of tugging. I haven't seen something move this slowly in the port of Baltimore since season 2 of The Wire.
I actually wanted to watch The Wire, but nothing happens, genuinely.
Just like to offer an immediate apology for that joke about The Wire. Season 2 of The Wire, while slower in pace, is rich in thematic clarity about the death of the American dream. I would never joke about something so serious or so current. But May was also a month for embarrassing and ineffective protests that went totally nowhere and undercut their own cause. Hundreds of climate protesters clashed with police in Germany as they stormed the Tesla Gigafactory. The Vulcan activist group claimed responsibility, suggesting that the electric car company consumed natural resources and labor. You know, like everything. Unlike the gas...
Is everyone doing this video format? I'm not doing a yearly recap. I've got an ASOC coming out in a couple days, but that's only what happened over the past week.
Guzzling, air-polluting cars that have been the backbone of the German manufacturing economy for the last 50 years. But you know, they're not owned by Elon Musk, so they're not part of the global culture war. Pro-Palestinian protests reached fever pitch on the campus of UCLA.
Thank you, Psychotic, for the 10. My BF is concerned that I only watch you because you also like things big and round. Can you please tell him that's totally not true?
Pro-genocide protesters, I mean pro-Israel protesters, squared off against pro-terrorist, I mean pro-Palestinian forces on the college green. And if you didn't like that joke, the comment section is right there. The two groups fought for control over the tiny patch of land, making it entirely uninhabitable for all the innocent people that just wanted to go about living their lives in peace. Comment section down there. Later in the month, this image went insanely viral.
What are the dislikes on the video? Oh, I see that. I could see the little black bar. It's 3 pixels wide. It's over.
On Instagram in a mass act of repost activism reminiscent of 2020's Blackout Tuesday. This one goes out to George Floyd. The image was shared more than 47 million times.
He said George Floyd, and then he shows the worst representation of the David Guetta doing a remix on a balcony. That even when that came out, that was bad.
Making it one of the most shared images in the platform's history. Generated by AI, it depicted poorly rendered tents arranged in perfect symmetry, and Gaza's snowy mountains in the background, made famous by the open-air prison's iconic alpine ski season. The computer-cooked image proved far more viral than the real photos coming out of Rafah, where an Israeli airstrike had killed dozens of civilians, raising questions about the role of AI-generated images in real events, but also about how effective they can really be in hijacking our attention.
Red Crescent search and rescue teams have arrived at the crash site of the helicopter carrying the president and his foreign minister. They say there is no sign of life.
In very serious news, on the 19th, a helicopter carrying the president of Iran crashed in the mountains of Azerbaijan, with Iran's almost official news agency, Mehr News, describing him as having been martyred in the crash. Martyred? Is that the right word? I didn't realize that Iran was in a holy war with the concept of gravity. But before the Ayatollah could issue a fatwa against Isaac Newton, Russian TV reported on rumors of another suspect.
Группа «Хамас», высказывающаяся в Телеграме, утверждает, что пилот вертолета был агентом Моссада. Он даже называет имя «Helicopter».
That's right. Veteran Putin-falator Vladimir Solovyov reported on internet rumors that a Mossad agent named Helicopter may have been involved in the crash. Clearly unaware.
His name is actually Helicopter. Is that a bit he's making up?
Aware of the pun or that the name originated from a joke posted on Hebrew social media. A huge percentage of the discussion around the crash in its initial hours centered on
It is said that the helicopter pilot was an Israeli Mossad agent named Eli Copter.
the possibility of foul play or Israeli involvement, with thousands of accounts
Hi,
latching
I'm
on
a
to
huge
the
fan and I
helicopter
wanted to
name
do something
without
cool for you,
investigating
so I
it
uploaded
further.
a video of my girlfriend farting in the art channel Pyrocynical. And trust me, it stunk XD like one of those hot compact chili bean stinkers.
Mods!
Phew. Hope you enjoy less than 3.
If that's real, you're getting a ban. I'm checking. Okay, good. I don't see it. All right.
In subsequent reports, Ellie's older brother, Roffel, was cited as a co-conspirator. In other news, Nayib Bukele decided to capitalize on his popularity as president of El Salvador by launching his own high-end coffee brand, while Bible salesman / presidential candidate Donald Trump was found guilty in a Manhattan court on all 34 counts of conspiracy and fraud. And yet, this wasn't even the worst look for someone campaigning for high office that week.
Can restore pride and confidence in our country, and with a clear plan and bold action, will deliver a secure future for you, your family, and our United Kingdom.
On the 22nd of
Conservatives be like, you don't like this guy, we'll put in a new person next week. And we'll do that every week until you like someone.
May, things could only get wetter in the UK when unpopular Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced a surprise general election sans umbrella, starting the race by blowing his brains out with the starter pistol. From his first puddle-pounding step, Rishi's campaign was soaked to the bone, as each
Why didn't he use an umbrella to seem more relatable?
subsequent appearance was drowned out by laughter.
Prime Minister, we are just yards away from where the Titanic was built and designed. Are you captaining a sinking ship going into this election?
But to be honest, I was barely paying attention, because the first coup of the year was underway in the DRC. That's right, the Democratic Republic of Congo, winner of the Worst Place to Live in the World award for the last 10 years running. So who on earth would want to run things over there? Turns out this guy, Christian Malanga,
He looks like a nice fella. Hopefully there's no bad history about him.
a former used car salesman from Utah, who moved back to his home country of the DRC to join the military. But after plotting a coup in 2010, he was forced to leave. And while in exile, he cooked up a whole new country called New Zaire. But the dream of New Zaire would be short-lived, as Christian's 2024 coup attempt would last all of 3 hours. It was probably the most inept attempt of the year, and it has some stiff competition in the coming months. Christian and about 20 of his best bros started their day by approaching the residence of the former Deputy Prime Minister, reportedly looking for the current Prime Minister, who they could not find. Not a great start. Failing that, they made a straight line for the presidential palace, which they immediately entered, finding it empty of staff and presidents.
I'm sorry, that guy over there was way...
Finding it empty of...
That guy's way too short to be in the army. Come on. Come on. Like the pillar's literally mogging him. That's not right.
Staff and presidents.
Zaire oye! Zaire oye!
With nothing else to do, Christian went live on Facebook.
He could dodge bullets easier. He'd be the best pick in Siege, that's all I'm saying.
To announce the coup, wearing the classic coup uniform, he declared the age of New Zaire had begun.
Ingeta! Zaire Ingeta! Ingeta! Brothers and sisters, stand up where we are! Zaire oye!
The live broadcast earned Christian a fistful of emojis and a few bullets in his body, as he and several of his co-coups were shot dead by the presidential guard 10 minutes later. The rest of the coup crew were captured and arrested, including 3 American nationals, which is where the story raises some additional eyebrows. Cannabis entrepreneur Benjamin Zalman Poulon was apparently among the coup keen when the rebellion went up in smoke. A man with a strange past, having cut a deal with the FBI in 2014 to escape a lengthy prison sentence. The other 2 were Christian's son, 21-year-old Marcel Malanga.
I swear every time you hear that someone cut a deal with like the government to get their sentence reduced, it's just never a good outcome.
And his Utah school friend Tyler Thompson. Their level of involvement in the rebellion remains unclear and will likely never be fully understood, as they are all now facing the death penalty as punishment. The story barely made a dent in the international news cycle, which is sadly typical of many of the stories coming out of the DRC. As YouTube's resident coup expert, I would give this one a generous 2 out of 10. A truly dire attempt. Poorly planned, poorly executed, amateurish.
Thank you, Jamie, for the 14.
But they did manage to get into the palace, which is better than I can say for another coup that happened in the month of June. June was a month for collabs and comebacks, as people joined forces or desperately forced their way back into relevance.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un hasn't uploaded in 2 weeks. He fell off.
Best friends forever, Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un went on a road trip that no one would ever forget. The internet couldn't get enough of these partners in war crime, using AI to fill out their trip's itinerary.
I was gonna say, like, that is just AI, like, come on.
For extra computer-imagined stops.
I'm sorry, don't leave me.
But what they didn't fake was this rom-com ending, as Kimmy and Vlad couldn't take their eyes off one another at the airport.
Oh, that's sweet.
Not to be upstage, Bukhari and Milei conducted their own South American meet-cute. With Bukhari...
The only thing I know about the guy on the left is he ran down a street with a chainsaw.
Mogging the fuck out of Milei during their stand-up straight contest, and with his out...
Yeah, he's trying too hard, it's over. Look at that. Look at that posture. He's trying too hard. He's even holding his holding his breath in to make his chest look bigger. It's over. Mogged, nothing you can do, mate. It's over.
Mogging the fuck out of Milei during their stand-up straight contest, and with his outfit, this time dressing as the Mecha God Cube for reasons that were obvious only to him. Still, something is working for him, as the president's war on drugs and gangs has been incredibly popular. When authorities burned 2.7 tons of cocaine in this public display, onlookers downwind described it as fucking sick, mate, and asked for feedback on their screenplays.
Well, we're coming back with breaking news because the live stream has finally started. You can see that.
Lightning struck twice when the GameStop stock surge returned for seconds, thanks in large part to the stock-pumping shenanigans of Roaring Kitty, who came back to social media after a 3-year absence with this meme.
This is the GameStop guy, right?
Thanks to this single post.
Just so much money was made off that. As soon as the only thing that I know about crypto after that event is like, well, stocks in general. If your parents talk to you about it, it's dead. It's dead and you need to pull out.
Shares shot up by over...
I remember investing in Ethereum and then my parents were like, have you heard of this Ethereum coin? And I was like, nope, pull it out.
70% in early trading sessions, which is when I sold the bullshit bag that I've been holding since 2021, allowing me to buy these neat sunglasses. Really. But Roaring Kitty's first live stream since disappearing revealed that the intervening years hadn't been kind to old Keith Gill. Turns out this was the man in finance that all those TikTok girlies were looking for earlier in the year, revealing that sometimes it's better not to revisit the glories of the past. Advice that Israel ignored when they decided to go medieval on Hezbollah's arse on the border with Lebanon, using a trebuchet to clear thorny vegetation on the other side of the border, proving that some relics of a bygone era can still be useful.
Does he know where he is? Seriously, does he actually know he's alive? So those videos you get of like a Labrador just staring at a wall or something.
We didn't realize it then, but on June 28th, Joe Biden gave his last performance in a presidential debate.
Dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Even CNN was like, you've yapped enough.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
The president spent his time trailing.
You can so tell that Trump is media trained. Like, okay, what you say doesn't have to be accurate in any way, but just make it sound like an own.
Off with barely audible answers, clearly cranky that the debate was occurring at his usual nap time. The debate followed multiple appearances where Biden had resembled a Roomba running out of batteries. While this debate was a disastrous performance for both candidates, here Donald Trump started to look like the frontrunner in the hotly contested race. But the biggest comeback of June was surely fascism in Europe, as right-wing parties goose-stepped all over the competition during the European parliamentary elections. France, Germany, and Italy all saw right-wing parties make enormous gains, riding continent-wide anger over years of badly managed immigration. Emmanuel Macron reacted to his party's loss by announcing a snap national election, and Europe reacted with a collective, "Fuck, another one? Really? Can't someone just declare themselves king already? What happened to the good old days? What happened to Charlemagne? Charlemagne! Charlemagne! We did it! Oh yeah, the UK election also did happen in June. But it was basically
I swear Labour only won because how much people hated Conservatives. They just voted against them.
already decided the moment it was announced. The result surprised literally no one, except for this one woman at Sky News, apparently.
Who got the votes again? Lib Dem. Yeah, Lib Dem will just never win again, I think. Reform got 13 seats. Green got 2. Yeah, Green just always win in Brighton and then basically nowhere else.
Oh my god.
God, that's a mug though. Look at that. 410 to 130.
Yes, these shrieks of centrist delight were made for the victory of Keir Starmer's Labour Party. Captain Boring led Labour back into government after a 14-year absence. He celebrated by raising his...
That was the poll, not the result. I mean, it wasn't too dissimilar, though. Labour did win. It wasn't by a huge margin, though, from what I remember, actually. It was mostly just people voting against Tories that caused them to win. Thank you, Rainbow, for the 29.
Cheeks up and down in one of his twice-annual smiles. Oh, my mistake. That's actually human skin cells stretched out in a collagen scaffold. Some bioengineers at Harvard put this together in June in ongoing efforts to make robots look more human. But they shouldn't have bothered, as the Labour Party have already perfected it. According to himself, Keir Starmer doesn't have a favourite film or book, he doesn't dream, and actively supports Arsenal. If he were an activity, he'd be reading the terms and conditions. If he were a meal, he'd be rice. You get the idea. At least in Bolivia, politics...
Yeah, Keir Starmer's got like the worst... what do they call it? The scoring for a current prime minister. It's the lowest it's ever been. I think it was lower than when like Rishi was in power.
It's got a bit more dynamic as the coup capital of the world did what they do worst. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of elections and coups in this section, but, you know, these are the events that happened. I have no control over them. And to be honest, if I did, there would probably be more coups, so... yeah. After weeks of political and economic unease, Bolivian army units led by General Juan Jose Zuniga blocked the streets on June 26th. Days before, the general had threatened to arrest former President Evo Morales if Morales...
Britain keeps selecting people they don't like, because we have no one that everyone wants. We're literally too divided.
I
mean, I always like vote Green, but that's just a wasted vote. I'm basically, it's not even a tactical vote. I'm like wasting my vote. I might as well just not vote because they'll never win. And if they do win, I feel like they're so under-prepared that they will definitely fuck up the country in some way.
Announced he was going to run in the upcoming presidential election, leading to the general's dismissal by the current president, Luis Arce. Yeah. The coup was basically the general's elaborate tantrum in response to his embarrassing removal. A tantrum that involved storming the Capitol and smashing down the door of the presidential palace with his armored vehicle. Despite the show of force...
Don't vote then? Well, that's what happened like well over a decade ago, and then we had a hung parliament because none of them went past the post. And then we had to have a coalition with Lib Dems and Conservative.
The general lacked meaningful military or political support.
Declaramos la huelga general indefinida.
Workers' unions quickly mobilized against the coup, and protesters started to gather, giving El Presidente the confidence to meet his goons at the door, explaining calmly that they have fucked up and that they should probably go home.
The Samsung noise. Why does that make it so unfunny?
You could tell the general had lost confidence in his own coup when he refused to exit his
Just getting a notification for like his Clash of Clans base is being invaded.
armored vehicle, attempting to take control of the country like he was ordering at a drive-thru. Yeah, I'll take one Bolivia with extra salt flats, hold the election, plus fries and a cherry coke. Less than an hour later, his troops withdrew, and in another victory for democracy, General Zuniga was arrested on live TV.
Del regimiento de Achacacho. ¿Ya? Achacacho. Entonces, Tomás.
No, no, no.
Así, Tomás.
Usted está detenido. Usted está detenido, mi general.
I'd give this coup a 2.5 out of 10. Pretty piss poor. Clearly a spur of the moment thing, with no attempt to capture the media or secure support in the military more widely. Shite, basically. To any coup-keen colonels out there, watch out. Do better. As a long-time beard owner, keeping it tidy is an ongoing fight to prevent people from thinking I'm homeless and or the Unabomber. But my battle against an unruly beard and industrial
I can tell this is a sponsor already, it's over.
society has gotten a lot easier with Henson shaving.
To be fair, I do use... I'm skipping this, unfortunately. But I do actually use clean. I use safety razors to shave. I think they're really good, honestly. I think you should invest in them.
And so, we reach the midpoint of...
Also, why is he doing a shill for that when he's got a beard, by the way? You only use that if you've got, like, stubble and you want to get, like, the rest off.
the year, and of brat summer. And pop culture would never be the same again. All eyes were on America in July, but Americans didn't notice because they just always assumed that's the case. Mark Zuckerberg's
Thank you, Mido, for the 10. I will.
public image makeover continues to flourish. Who knew all it took to get people to love you was to completely change everything?
He had such a bizarre glow up. He actually got a hairstyle, not just like a cap on his head. And then he started wearing like chains, and he stopped wearing the, you know, the grey shirts he wears every single day.
About you.
You see something that said, take a look at what happened.
On the 13th, Donald Trump was shot in the ear just as he was starting his speech at a rally in Pennsylvania, resulting in a minor wound and the photograph that will be on the front cover of American history books about this era for as long as books exist. Subsequently, in a message of support, Elon would come out as a fully fledged Trump simp, heralding a new and irritating
Remember that little dance Elon did on stage? I really hope he shows it because it's so bad.
era for the billionaire.
It's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time.
Oh, you gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
Footage from a street interview.
I haven't even seen that clip like after she says "hawk" to her. That's mind blowing for me. That's like when you get AI to like make an image move.
Conducted in June went super viral as Haley Welsh discussed proper etiquette when it came to slurping penis. And in doing so, degraded the English language further into a mix of guttural grunts and saliva spraying incoherence.
We bring the boom. That's what we do. We bring the boom.
Not to be outdone, the Costco guys released their debut single.
Yeah, I like how they probably freaked out that like, oh my god, this Hawk Tour girl's gonna dethrone us. Boys, we need to ramp it up, do a music video now.
With We Bring the Boom, based on their boom/doom meter that they use to rate Costco products. Have I already told you guys about that? Sorry, this year is just becoming a bit of a blur. Yes, the release of this song crystallized culture in a profound and irreversible way. Now everything, every person, every molecule can be judged on a new scale. The distinctions between the old binaries now seem old, outdated, futile, good versus evil, left versus right, smart versus stupid. These are nothing but archaic forms of nuance, pointless in the face of the universality of the boom and doom. Joe Biden continued his promise to bring the boom to Ukraine when he introduced their president.
They should have not used a picture that high quality of him. Oh my god. Oh my god.
In a gaffe to end all gaffes.
And now I want to hand it over to the president of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has
determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's still somehow not as bad as the one where he's like, you know, the one where he's like, oh, the foothills, Xi Jinping. But like that was like you could understand what he was saying. Oh, it's so bad.
Probably it. This was the moment that brought the doom.
President Putin.
Boom to President Biden's campaign. A few weeks later, he was ousted as the Democratic Party's candidate for president. Kamala Harris ascended quickly and with basically no opposition
like
to
trash winning the lottery.
Thank you, Adam, for the 10.
Become Joe Biden's replacement. Establishment politicians and pop culture joined forces to endorse her, raising $81 million in just one day.
Or when he's instructed through an earpiece to salute the Marines, but just repeats it loud as he walks past them. Is there a clip of that? Please, can someone send me a clip of that? He's instructed through an earpiece to salute the Marines, but he repeats it loud as he walks past them. Oh my god. Okay, I need to find this clip. I actually need to find this clip. That sounds hilarious. I don't think I can find it. No, I can't find it. I just looked up Joe Biden's salute. What's the clip? Apparently, he's told in an earpiece to salute these troops, and he just says the word salute out loud.
But the most consequential endorsement came in the form of a single tweet. British pop star Charlie XCX tweeted, "Kamala is brat."
That somehow got less likes than my tweet calling someone gay. That's wild.
A meaningless in-joke that had no real bearing on the candidate's character or policies. It was an aesthetic. But as the Democratic Party has no ideas of their own and a completely...
Yeah, they actually... The thing is, you can... if you get the whole brat crowd on, you've got like 20-year-old women on your side. But that's not like all of America.
The outdated idea of how internet culture works, they ran with it. Haley Welsh and the Costco guys have transformed their lives by clinging on to their viral moment and sucking every drop of potential from the wet...
You've contracted brain rot. Is that real in Skyrim or is that a mod? Is that real? Oh, it's real! I thought it was a mod. Brain rot. Okay, that's kind of woke me up a little bit. That's hilarious. Brain rot is a contractable disease in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. It can be caught from fighting hag ravens or through contact with traps. Wow. Wow. The fact that that is a real stat.
Bath mat.
Todd actually knew. That's crazy.
Public attention. Podcasts, music, merchandise, shitcoins. This is self-conscious, wholesome grifting in the age...
When did Skyrim come out again? Like 2010? That's... Jesus.
...of brain rot. So what is brain rot, really?
Oh yeah, cheers, Warbler. I got sent the clip. Hang on. This is the clip of Joe Biden. Thank you, AZ, for joining. This is the clip of Biden where apparently he's told through an earpiece to salute people, but he just says it out loud. Oh, what? Nothing happened. What? I think he says it. He says something. I can't even hear him. I'll be honest. I can't even hear him. Yeah, oh, I thought that'd be a good clip. It was mid.
Well, I see it as the...
He said, "Salute the Marines." I'm deaf. Wait, maybe we've just got a lot of Americans in here. You people talk funny. Let me try it again. Oh, yeah, no, I hear it. I hear it. Wow. He just says it out loud, "Salute the Marines," then just walks in.
Product of the endless scroll.
Christ.
A mindless meme that demands users continuously add on to a single theme until it
I do listen to some Charlie, to be fair. Especially when she did a collab with Blade.
has lost all of its original charm and intent, but keeps our attention through familiarity, right? All that remains is the recycled remnants of the idea, an in-joke that can only be understood by the scrollers who are, consenting to their own lobotomy with every dopamine-delivering thumb twitch. But this kind of brain rot is powerful. It is meta-viral, not just dependent on a single original video being spread far and wide and then, dying once it's been seen by everyone. It's an unholy meshing of meme and viral moment. The Costco guys and Spit on Dick Girl capitalized on their one viral clip in a way that was once unthinkable. They rode the wave until it...
The thing is, what I don't understand is, with, lefties, right? They always try to appeal to Zoomers. It never wins. It never works. We had someone that was trying to run for Labour. What was his name, chat? Someone that tried to run for Prime Minister for Labour. Before Keir Starmer. The older guy. I forget his name. He wears glasses. He was very interactive with Zoomers and stuff like that. But it just didn't work. He had terrible turnout. Ed Miliband? No, not Ed Miliband. Jeremy Corbyn, that's right. Yeah, Jeremy tried to appeal to Zoomers and stuff like that. Not in a cringe way, but kind of a I'm the old guy that's relatable kind of way. It just never works. It never works. It's like the guy that's leading the Liberal Democrats. He does all this stuff like water polo and jet skiing and just all this bizarre stuff. But it's no one cares. Because again, the vote always comes out to the old people. It's always the old people. It's the silent majority.
It became
whoever the whole thing about whoever controls the spice controls the galaxy. Whoever controls Facebook controls the vote.
A social contagion, like a virus adapting to the body's defense mechanisms. The meme is changed just enough to bypass our boredom until it has become a whole new...
Corbyn had the highest ever vote amount and the highest youth turnout, though. It did not work. Yeah, I know it didn't work because it Zoomers are the most vocal minority, genuinely. They'll turn out to vote, or do I stay at home and be on Discord?
Thing, but with a bit of familiarity for those who stuck with it, and pages of inbuilt lore for newcomers to learn from.
It did? No, it didn't work because they lost. I'm saying he might have won over the youth majority, but it doesn't matter.
Brain rot is the new normal on the...
I mean, you could argue that he set up the foundations that helped Labour get in so much later, but I think it's more just the resentment people had for Tories for so long. Because genuinely, it felt like a spinning wheel with Conservatives that just would never stop because they just kept putting in a new person every couple of months.
Internet, because it's easy to make and consume, but that doesn't mean we can't see through it.
Charlie XCX has a huge young following. She's very much immersed in internet culture. And what the Biden campaign couldn't do and was struggling with doing
Starmer and Corbyn are completely different. Yeah, their political values are, but they were both Labour.
Was getting Gen Z support. Well, now Kamala Harris has complete Gen Z attention, and she is really embraced.
Yeah, I think Corbyn was too lefty. So when they got Keir in, they were like, okay, we need to be more center left.
This.
The forced meme of Kamala is brat wasn't brain rot at all. It was worse. It was an outdated idea of what the internet is. In the 2000s, the internet was nerd culture, right? In the 2010s, it was youth culture. And today, the internet simply is culture. Whoever was running...
I think that's true. Because millennials now, in their 30s and 40s and stuff, they also have access to the internet now because they grew up on it. Or they got it into their teens.
Kamala's digital strategy hadn't got the memo. They were running a 2010s campaign in 2024. Today, one 3-hour podcast appearance is worth 100 appearances on broadcast television. And they have to be unedited and unscripted. Donald Trump's campaign demonstrated a far greater understanding of this in the next month, having the candidate appear alongside Aiden Ross.
Fuck my chungus life. I actually remember this. And he gifted him a Tesla and he had to take it back because it was basically bribery.
internet
Rain Bet Casino and Sports ad, by the way.
audiences
It's just like, it's actually parody. It is actually parody.
have much lower expectations these
Just put an SNL watermark in the bottom left corner as well. Oh no, I can't do that because they've already put a kick watermark down there. Great.
days for flashy visuals or production design, but have much higher standards when it comes to authenticity. They want what's reals. Kamala is Brat was dead on arrival. I give it a doom! Oh yeah, and on the 19th, about 8.5 million Windows devices were bricked with the blue screen of death, grounding flights, shutting banks, and losing companies millions in revenue. Crazy, am I right? And there was some riots in the UK or something. Moving on. August was a month for outrage, as people got goddamn pissed about trivial bullshit that I can barely pretend that I care about. Jimmy Beast came under fire for a litany of clickbait almost crimes that were as numerous as they were inconsequential. The controversy created a whole cottage industry of YouTubers, large and small, collecting massive bags by dumping Jimmy's face in a thumbnail and regurgitating the info that was already out there.
True.
Personally, I couldn't care less, as I found the whole business
Yeah, I know that whole Mr. Beast drama kept so many commentary channels well fed. Like everyone ate well that month.
as childish and irritating as, well, a Mr. Beast video. Twitter revealed exactly where the limits of free speech laid.
Barry Stanton. Oh my god. If you guys know the Barry Stanton account, he would just tweet the most inane racist stuff. It's obviously just some like white 15-year-old just laughing. And then, yeah, then he got banned.
When the platform suspended the Barry Stanton account. This year, Twitter has been giving 4chan a run for its money with more conspiracy theories and Kremlin propaganda than you could cram under Tim Pool's beanie. But the anonymous Barry Stanton account proved that as bad as the Elon...
He's over. Yeah, I like how Pegasus used that. He's over. Like, what does that... I'll never get that. Like, what does that mean? He's over.
...own platform could...
I actually just ran out of words in the dictionary.
...be, there was a limit on just being a constant barrage of anti-Indian racism and pro-Hitler posts. Yeah.
No, I said it.
Yeah, I came back onto Twitter, and I do have it on my phone, but I've uninstalled it again. Because genuinely, it genuinely does just show you the most, like, it shows you everything that will make you inherently angry, so you kind of keep scrolling on the app so it can recommend more ads to you. It's terrible. Genuinely. I'll install it to tweet something, and then I'll just uninstall again. Oh no, I don't do that actually. I use that app 1 sec to like block it off my phone so I don't think about opening it.
It's heavy. Niggas is lined up.
I think the worst thing is because you can make money off Twitter as well now through Twitter Blue. It's created this generation of people that will just either steal stuff or rage bait you. Because even if like you get absolutely attacked, most of these people are just faceless gimmick accounts, so it doesn't matter. They just want the engagement so they get paid.
No, this shit is elephant.
When a viral
that Chase Bank situation was crazy. I just said a fucking YouTube title.
TikTok trend claims that Chase Bank ATMs were plagued with a real-life free money glitch, many rushed to take advantage. Users who were dumb enough to believe in real-life video game logic were also stupid enough to record themselves doing it, depositing bogus checks into their own accounts and then making seemingly successful cash withdrawals. Apparently unaware that this was simply, let me check, check fraud.
Fuck, man. They really told me to tap in. Next day I was supposed to clear and look at my account, yo.
Steals from the bank, is surprised the bank noticed. Clueless.
Oh yeah, and the Paris Olympics was on, and frankly I thought it slapped like a penis on a pole vaulter, providing a bevy of record-breaking performances, but also a whole bunch of pointless bullshit for people to get mad at. The opening ceremony in July was extremely controversial, but only if you're such an anti-woke pearl clutcher that you think a bearded woman and some blue body paint is some kind of capital cultural offense.
I think people got way too angry over that, but at the same time, I think you're well within your right to say that it was fucking weird. Because it definitely was.
Early in the month, the streets of Dakar were packed with student protesters, demanding an end to the rule of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Defying curfew days later, crowds broke through the gates of the PM's residence and made camp inside.
It was French? Yeah, fair enough, actually.
Parliament.
I watched a French film last night called Titan, and it's a girl that literally has sex with a car, and she gets pregnant from the car. So yeah, it actually makes sense. It's a culture thing.
All enabled by an eventually indifferent military that seemed uninterested in defending the long-serving PM's rule.
Where do you find these movies? I get recommended films a lot from Dolan, because Dolan watches a lot of films. I don't really have time for films that much. I usually only really have time to watch films that have already been out of the cinemas for a while, and then they're on streaming. But that was on my list for like a while. I mean, he's like an actual Reddit user. Like, he's got like the whole Letterboxd account and stuff like that. Like, I could never do that. But he'll like recommend films and stuff like that. He's back. How's the new year? It's good. Yeah, hope you've been well. How long have I been streaming for? 4 hours. I feel like I've been streaming 12 hours. I still got to do me-side after this.
It was enough to conclude her 15 years in power as statues of her father were torn down in the capital. But I bet you didn't hear about that, because the internet was positively raging at the antics of a bad Australian breakdancer instead.
I don't understand why this was ever considered in the Olympic Games. Like, if you're going to allow something like this in the Olympic Games, you've got to allow bowling, right? Like, without, like 10-pin bowling.
Yes, this was the Ray Gun controversy, centering on Rachel Gunn, aka Ray Gunn, aka Dr. Gunn, because she had a PhD in breakdancing. Many considered Rachel's performance at the first, and probably last, breaking contest in Olympic history to be an embarrassing display, possibly unaware that breakdancing just looks like that. But greater scrutiny fell on Dr. Gunn's performance when a viral petition accused her of manipulating the Australian selection process and allowing her husband to coach the national team. These allegations were completely false, but they helped give people a moral justification for shitting on the middle-aged woman who didn't dance good. In September, we crossed into opposite land. Up was down, carrots was peas, Christmas was in October, and Nikado Avocado was skinny. In a bizarre
It's the last time it's in the tournament. Did they kick it out afterwards because they realized how ridiculous it was?
bid to stave off post-election strife, President Maduro of Venezuela made a decree to move Christmas forward to October 1st in one of his regular TV appearances.
I am always 2 steps ahead.
I saw people on TikTok making fun of Nikocado, saying that he spent all those years losing weight only for people to forget after a week, which is sadly true. Once you get that lightning in a bottle, if you don't keep going with it, everyone stops caring. That's what happened with the Costco guys. They realized that they had lightning in a bottle and they milked it. They definitely hit up managers and stuff being like, we need to keep this going, we need to keep this going.
Famously fat.
Like, people forgot about this. Like, no one cares anymore.
Face stuffer Nikado Avocado revealed that he'd suddenly lost an insane amount of weight with what seemed like impossible speed. He eventually revealed that the last 2 years of his barely disguised feeder fetish content had been pre-recorded. For those missing the old Nikado, another slimy, overeating ingrate
sacrificed years of his life for a bit. I mean, he's lost the weight. He's definitely going to live longer now, and he's more healthy, definitely.
Captured the internet's eyeball.
But it's just crazy how, like, that was it. There was no follow-up or anything.
In September. That's right, Mudeng, a pygmy hippo living in a Thailand zoo, captured the hearts of gawking simpletons everywhere who clap like seals whenever something is smaller than it should be. The zoo said visitor numbers had doubled since her birth in July, inspiring...
Wait, apparently he uploaded 3 days ago. What did he upload?
Click the link below and come to my tour, the 2 Steps Ahead tour.
He's got a tour now? He has a tour. What's he gonna do on tour? Just eat on stage? There's a mukbang? Yeah. Why are they blue noodles? I don't even eat them. Crazy. What's he gonna do on tour? I actually might go to that. Oh, maybe he's gonna do stand-up. He's just gonna, like, reinvents himself like Tommy in it.
Other zoos to spin their captive attractions into social media stars. The Melbourne Aquarium pulled a reverse Mudeng by featuring Pesto, a penguin pup that was surprisingly large. And at the UN, the president of Haiti was also surprised by the hitherto...
The view drop? I didn't even look at the views, actually. I mean, if they're still, like, over a 250,000, that's good.
Click the link.
I mean, that's not bad. 3 days ago. No, his views just, yeah, it is a bit of a drop-off, to be fair. I'll be honest. And then he went to the Heart Attack Grill again. That place is grim. Nikocado merch.
Unexpected largeness of a thing. Before quenching his thirst, the president...
Did he not have a cup?
also expressed solidarity with Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, for reasons that will unfortunately be obvious to most of you. September was simply a remarkable...
They're eating the dogs.
...month for bullshit. And the whole Springfield pet-eating hoax is the best possible case study I could ask for to demonstrate the politically motivated post-truth ecosystem that currently has the internet in a chokehold. It all started with a post in a local Facebook group called Springfield, Ohio Crime and Information, reporting the second-hand and anonymous story of a lost cat and its apparent butchering by Haitian immigrants. The post first left the local Facebook group by going viral among neo-Nazi groups, and then reaching global attention when it was picked up by high-follower rage-bait Twitter accounts like End Wokeness. It was here that it attracted the attention of Elon Musk and Vice Presidential...
Apparently, people's pet cats are being eaten. I like how there's just no context given there. There's no links or anything. It's just like... Because it's his website, it's almost like he's leaving that out as... This is like James Woods in Family Guy, just leaving out all the pieces of candy, so he gets trapped in the box. Like, what he's doing there is getting you to go into the search bar and type that up, because it gets more impressions, and then you'll be recommended more ads.
Candidate J.D. Vance.
It's the equivalent of like a YouTuber that's been paid by like a product, and they just say how good the product is.
The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I
15,000 likes. Yeah, that's for the owner of Twitter. That's pretty bad.
Started talking about cat memes. If I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do.
You just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created.
When the factual basis of these claims were questioned,
he obviously heard what she said. He just wanted to like interrupt her.
Questioned, a host of other politically motivated...
Thank you, Quantum, for the tent, penis.
...accounts backed up the pet-eating claims with circumstantial evidence and outright lies. This image went viral as apparent evidence of pet eating in Springfield, a photo that wasn't taken in Springfield, probably doesn't feature anyone from Haiti, and definitely doesn't include a pet. The man was just picking up 2 geese that had been hit by a car. But in this post-truth ecosystem, this wasn't about finding the facts, it was about keeping the wider conversation on immigration. Influencers like Benny Johnson, Tim Pool, and Charlie
I like how boomers will just rely on AI images so much. It's actually embarrassing.
Kept the fires burning long enough that all the rumors eventually reached the presidential debate stage.
In spring, I always thought when I saw this debate, I thought that was really clever how Carmela like walked up to Trump to shake his hand. That was like a real power move there, I think. I mean, she still lost, unlucky. But yeah, I thought that was very clever. Her team obviously told her to do that, because it's like, well, if he doesn't shake your hand, then that shows he's like a coward.
Springfield.
Like, you gotta keep in mind, when these people do debates, they have like entire teams of people that like tell them exactly what to say, exactly what to do, how to act, how to like try and catch someone in like an own.
They're eating the
Caramel.
dogs, the people that
They turned her into a furry as well. They turned into like a hyena, if anyone saw that.
came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Just when this talking point couldn't get more viral, the quote was co-opted by TikTok as the latest viral song.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat.
Thanks to Facebook's rumor mill, Twitter's propaganda, and TikTok's ADHD, this quote is all anyone remembers from that second and final presidential debate. Today...
I mean, it's true. I don't remember anything about that debate. I remember watching afterwards and I was like, something eat dog.
This is the life cycle of truly viral information.
I mean, I get it. Like this guy, his view is very overly cynical and British. I get that, but he's right. You can basically completely control the narrative as long as you get people to like make it into a viral trend that you like clip on TikTok or something. I mean, I've said this before. It's like all the big streamers in the world, like that are big right now. They got big from clip farming, or like people farming them for clips. Like Aisha Speed, Queso, like all these people, Jinxie, they got big because they did moments that people clipped and shared to make money for themselves, which inadvertently made them famous.
Starts with an inflammatory rumor that provokes attention through debate,
Hello,
and then it becomes a soundbite,
the Hell of
then
a
it
Boss
becomes a
video
meme.
by Flaz
This is brain rot politics,
The gas
and it's just the
situation
tip
is
of the
stinky.
iceberg. In the middle of the month, something completely insane
Mr. Beast is married? No, he's engaged, right?
happened, and it's going to be really hard to talk about without pissing off YouTube and a substantial portion of you guys watching.
Hello.
Okay, so as you may know, on September 17th, thousands of pagers exploded simultaneously in Beirut, killing Hezbollah members and civilians, as well as injuring thousands of both. What the fuck, said Lebanon. How the fuck, asked seasoned geopolitical commentators, and the fuck is a pager, asked anyone under the age of 25. Hezbollah had evidently abandoned phone and internet communications in an effort to evade Israeli eavesdropping. Footage of these grisly pant explosions were shared widely on Twitter minutes after they occurred. Onlookers were baffled, and meme creators demonstrated absolutely zero chill right out the gate. Many wondered if Israel had created some kind of sci-fi superweapon capable of exploding
They use a Mad Men bit there.
ordinary consumer electronics at will. The truth was only slightly more believable, as it was revealed a covert Israeli operation had used a combination of front companies to sell pagers to Hezbollah directly, having planted plastic explosives within the batteries of the devices after acquiring them from a Taiwanese manufacturer. The front company sales team continuously cut their price, promising that a bulk pager purchase wouldn't burn a hole in anyone's pocket. The terror group were eventually seduced by the bargain, and the devices were distributed across their network. A similar wave of walkie-talkie explosions occurred the next day, and a series of airstrikes followed over the next few weeks, wiping out...
Oh god, yeah, I thought those were the pages. I was like, what the fuck?
...the majority of Hezbollah's leadership, provoking large-scale celebrations in rebel-occupied Syria, which was very confusing to anyone who just started paying attention. The decimation of Hezbollah's leadership forced the organization to pull their troops out of Syria, weakening the Assad regime's security, as Hezbollah played a big part in securing the center of the country, separating the Assad regime in the south from rebel-held areas in the north. The Assad regime's Jenga tower was already looking shaky.
Pyro, can you put on some inflation fairy content? This is getting boring. My face when I'm watching something educational.
Due to Russia's ebbing commitment to them.
No, why is it not Aisha Speed doing a backflip? I don't get it.
Due to Russia being, preoccupied with their whole war in Ukraine. So preoccupied that they've had to reach out to their friends in North Korea to send some extra troops to fight in a war that has now gone inside their own border and sent their currency into freefall. And all this makes Iran look really bad because, Hezbollah is their boy, but also they're too weak internally to really back them up in any way that would materially matter. Which is why they fired a bunch of flashy but totally ineffective missiles at Israel in a performative act of war that was designed to inflict minimum damage. Because while they wanted to look like they were backing Hezbollah up, they didn't actually want a full-scale conflict with Israel. It was like the geopolitical equivalent of edging.
We are in such a dystopian time that you've just got an Indian man setting off fireworks and then the dancing cat with the drum.
Full-scale conflict with Israel.
Why is there 4 watermarks as well? It was how many times has that video been stolen?
It's like the geopolitical equivalent of edging. And now Russia, they don't want a full-scale conflict either, as they would feel obligated to back up Iran because they're bros too. And that's not even to mention Turkey's involvement in all this, as their allegiances are shifting, pragmatic, and a bit more Machiavellian. And this is just a tiny little look at this insane geopolitical rat king that is writhing and biting itself on the world stage at the moment. It's all a bit pre-World
Hey
War
Byro,
III.
have you heard about the new Harley Quinn comic? I think you might enjoy it.
I haven't heard of it. What happens in it?
But let's not get too bogged down in all that. Don't want to spoil anything for the 2025 recap. In October, we were treated with some subtle foreshadowing of things to come, as stuff was promised, predicted, and premeditated. But these expectations were often upended by disappointment. Huh, that's weird. I thought for sure that in its latest ploy to seduce children...
What is that chair he's on? Look at that. That chair looks like one of those standing ones on like Ryanair that they were planning to put out.
In its latest ploy to seduce children, the Vatican unveiled their new Catholic cartoon mascot, Loose.
God, yeah, that was... God, this video is really giving me whiplash that, like, so many things came out that lasted a literal day and then people just forgot.
Anime girl with blue hair and a yellow raincoat, because a choir boy with his frock pulled over his head would have been a bit on the nose.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Hundreds of people gathered in Dublin city centre to witness a Halloween parade that never was. The parade was mistakenly listed on a Pakistani website and then spread on TikTok, leading crowds...
They had a thing in New Year's in Birmingham where there was going to be like a huge fireworks show and then nothing happened. Like genuinely nothing happened. Or like thousands of people turned up into the middle of Birmingham expecting a huge show because they saw like posts about it on Facebook, and then the police had to make a statement saying it's AI generated ads, like they're not real. Nothing's happening.
Crowds to patiently wait on the roadside for nothing, as the internet once again made a successful assault on material reality. Throughout October, Sean Diddy Combs was hit with a series of individual civil suits accusing him of a lot of gross shit. Did he do it? Sure seems like Diddy did. In combination with his upcoming criminal case, it doesn't look good for the aging rapist.
Yes, that is crazy. Hello, how are you? Good looking guy.
McDonald's customers in Pennsylvania were surprised to find Donald Trump at the drive-thru window. A pitch
They actually gave him a little apron as well. I've never seen a McDonald's worker with an apron.
perfect piece of political theatre that fully utilized the candidate's status as a supersized nugget.
It's crazy how people find that endearing that he's working at a McDonald's, but it's like, you're trying to make it endearing and relatable and American. You're serving people slop. Like, McDonald's is not good food, man. If he's working at like a restaurant as like a waiter or something, okay, that'd be kind of genius. But like, you're literally just serving complete slop to people.
Of Americana. If the campaign had more time, they could have had him bottling Coca-Cola, deep frying them.
The Ace family did that. Yeah, there's been a couple YouTubers, right, that have worked. I remember Critical made a video on it like 3 years ago. Like, there were YouTubers, I think British YouTubers, that worked in a McDonald's for a day, and they just seemed so out of touch.
Monster truck, or unloading a Glock into the back of someone's head before trampling their body in a Black Friday sales stampede. Elections in Georgia.
Did you hear his comment to a Mexican family that was in the drive-thru? No, I didn't watch the video.
Yep. Another election. Things got testy when Russia's preferred party claimed victory amid allegations of fraud.
Wait, actually, I got a question here for any Americans in the chat. When you go to fast food like McDonald's, In-N-Out, do you have the option to tip or no? Because if you don't have the option to tip, that's probably another reason why they're so popular. Because tipping culture, no, there's no option. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's probably why they're so popular, apart from the convenience and stuff as well. Yeah, tipping culture is... I'll never get that in America. I know I've said this a million times, but like, why should I have to pay your salary when it's your boss's fault for not paying you enough? That sounds really selfish for me to say it like that in such a blunt way, but I think it's just wrong. Like, I do tip. I genuinely tip. Like, any restaurant I go to, even if like the waiter's being nice, I'll just throw them like, 20 quid or something like that and be like, yeah, there you go. Appreciate it. But like, as soon as it's like a mandatory thing where you're made to feel bad, that makes me not want to do it.
I'm here in Georgia, and today probably they have the biggest elections in the history of the country.
Luckily, Phidias, a member of European Parliament and a YouTuber responsible for this hate crime of a thumbnail,
that was terrible. Just soy facing.
Was there.
Guys, look! Guys! Poverty! Poverty! Look at all these little African children surrounding me that have no money. Look at that. I spent 100 hours in the world's poorest country. They have no money, guys.
As an independent observer.
If the polling stations were doing a good job, even though I saw some incidents that I didn't like, overall the day went smoothly and we stayed until late night in the polling station to inspect the counting as well.
On the 28th, the same guy who ate a lot of cheese balls organised a Timothée Chalamet lookalike contest in the same park.
I remember hearing that he actually turned up to this, but it was never confirmed.
10,000 people showed up for the Twee event, attracting such large crowds that 4 people were arrested, including one of the fake Timmys.
No, Timmy! Timothée Chalamet, no!
The contest was forced to migrate to the nearby Mercer playground, where a winner was crowned and the real Chalamet showed up to watch.
Oh, that actually is him.
The viral success of this copycat contest inspired its own copies.
Yeah, to be fair, you can tell it's real because he actually has a bodyguard as well.
And were mostly centered on other famously hot men. There were 2 Paul Mescal contests, a Harry Styles contest.
That looks 2% like Harry Styles.
A Dev Patel one, and 2 for that bug-eyed chef guy who's always angry that he has to cook for people.
Someone asked me to make a grilled cheese! Fuck!
But for me, though, this all just seems...
I remember just seeing posts about that all over Twitter, and it's like, you'll get a pose of him from the bear just looking really sad, and it's like Lemmy when le customer orders le food.
like another expression of the copy and paste slop culture that Hollywood has been force-feeding us for the last decade and change. As Solar Sands recently put it, our culture is eating itself. Everything is a copy, because that's the only thing people are showing up for. 9 out of the 10 highest grossing films of the year were sequels, remakes.
I'll be honest, this sounds really like petty. I really hope that that new Captain America film flops. Because if not, Disney and that are just going to keep churning up that slop. I feel that the only reason that film is going to do well is because they got Harrison Ford in it. And that gets all the Star Wars fanboys, the Indiana Jones fanboys, that gets like all of them involved in it. Because this is what they do now. They always get like callbacks to like older actors that were in like similar media. There's like a pull.
Or reimaginings. The only exception being YOLO, a Chinese comedy drama that you've probably never even heard of. Gladiator 2, pointless sequel. Dune 2, sequel to a remake. Inside Out 2, sequel for babies. And don't even get me started on Deadpool and Wolverine.
That was so bad. That film was so bad. I really didn't enjoy that. I thought that film could have been cinema, and then it's just like Hugh Jackman has about 4 lines in the whole film. And then about 20 grunts. He's like Norman Reedus in The Walking Dead. He's
AKA Funko Pop the movie. A feature-length celebration of one studio absorbing the fetal corpse of another studio's IP library, made as one disgusting...
Dude, this is making me realize how fucked the movie industry is. You've either got like major... huge budget films that are slop, or you've got A24 films where nothing ever happens. There's no winning.
Chimera mega merger. And then there's Wicked, maybe the most loved movie of the year.
I haven't seen Wicked. I've got a gay friend that wants me to watch it, which makes sense. But yeah, I keep seeing interviews of the girls, and I know everyone said this, but they just cry over like anything. It's so bizarre. I mean, maybe the film might mean a lot to them, to be fair, but they also look like they eat like a slice of bread a week. It's crazy.
An adaptation of a musical that's an adaptation of a book, which is a reimagining of a movie that already has a prequel, sequel, and reimagining, and was already itself an adaptation of a book. And you know, I fucking loved it. Which is when I realized I can't really blame these studios for serving us reheated, microwave-safe pig slop when I'm face deep in the trough.
I like how the word slop just became so popular.
Myself.
Slop, slop,
Eat
slop.
up, piggies, because if you keep showing up, that's all they're ever gonna serve you. At least the losers who showed up to these lookalike contests were breathing some outside air in the company of other humans instead of complaining about sequels on Reddit or in a YouTube video. In November, the world chose to fuck shit up as the year's major themes were crystallized by a few moments of violence and victory. Everyone was so thirsty for blood that millions were willing to tune in to watch the internet's biggest dickhead beat the shit out of a convicted rapist. 60 million households tuned in for this, apparently, causing the stream to crash during pivotal moments.
I'm so happy I never watched that. I didn't even have enough interest to watch that to do a slop video on it because I knew Critical would beat me to it. I didn't even bother.
The old man pummeling.
Like, I remember like seeing clips of the lineup and how like Jake is in a car with his brother Logan and Logan is just spraying him full of like this body spray that Jake Paul has. It's just all a huge transaction. Thank you, Brandino, for the 4 months.
In scenes from 1780, peasants in Spain tossed mud at the king, angry over the government's failure to deal with the country's apocalyptic floods. One of many devastating floods this year that maybe we should be paying more attention to. There was that whole climate change thing that people were on
Mike Tyson Giat, though. What does that mean?
About like 8 years ago. Maybe we should... No, wait! Stop the presses! Someone killed a notable squirrel in New York. The fate of Peanut, the glorified rat, briefly transfixed America when he was murdered by the cops. The extrajudicial killing...
How does that happen? Someone's dog being shot or something. I've seen that before, but like... How does a squirrel get shot by police?
Of this illegal, insta-famous pet struck a nerve of Americans who connected this highly specific, isolated...
Mike Tyson's ass was on screen? Ah, I heard about that, yeah.
...incident that has never happened before with the larger issue of government overreach. The plight of the pet even somehow made it to the presidential campaign as J.D. Vance pounced on the hot button issue.
On the way down here from Cincinnati, he was like, you know, is it really the case that the Democrats murdered the Elon Musk of squirrels? And I said, yeah, it sounds like... Have you seen the videos of this squirrel?
Oh, and Donald Trump was elected president of the United States for the second time, which was an event that happened. An entirely unsurprising one, if you ask me, but that's because I live online, where he actually won the election several months earlier.
Just admits he's so chronically online, just like scrolling Twitter. I mean, yeah, if your entire feed is end wokeness and Elon Musk, I mean, yeah, would have apparently won the election 200 years ago.
Check out this rap and let me know your honest thoughts.
I think it's incredible. I think it's incredible.
XQC there, like, I get it. He needs to pick up his... He had something in the stake contract, but... Oh, man.
Go to the front.
The cultural supremacy that broadcast and print media enjoyed back in 2016...
You'll stay in the front.
...when Donald Trump first ran for president, has all but evaporated. 24-hour news coverage has been replaced by the infinite scroll. The think piece has been eclipsed by the hot take. Memes have supplanted the soundbite, and podcasts have pulverized the late-night interview into submission. Which is why I am not joking when I say the Costco guy's appearance on Jimmy Fallon is one of the most culturally critical moments of the year. AJ, Big Justice, and the Rizzler farted into Fallon's couch for an agonizing 7 minutes as the newly...
To be fair, with how much TV's dying, they will just grab anyone that's relevant on TikTok.
...minted internet famous collided with the institutional...
But now boomers know who they are.
...anti-Riz of a decade-famous hack.
Welcome to The Tonight Show. Thank you so much for being here. You guys have taken over the internet, and now you've gone way beyond the internet.
We're 5 seconds in, and Fallon needs to immediately make it clear that the internet is on a lower rung of the cultural hierarchy.
Over the summer, you had one of the biggest songs, We Bring the Boom. That's right.
We do.
We bring the boom! All right, yes. Bring the boom.
Fallon.
It's actually crazy. Like, people 300 years in the future are going to look back at this and think, did we just run out of stuff to do back then? Did we really think that there was, like... Are we just waiting to, like, colonize planets or something? Like, there's just... Nothing's really happening at the minute. Why the fuck we make these people famous? Thank you, Shaw, for joining. Dude, is your profile picture the fucking jump scare in the Scooby-Doo game? His profile picture is that horrible jump scare in the Scooby-Doo Flash game. That's horrible, man.
And then showed them the evidence that the Costco guys had really made it big by reminding them that a bunch of theater kid nobodies on SNL had done a parody of them.
This week on Saturday Night Live, they impersonated you on the show. Isn't that wild?
Unaware that the...
That's so funny. Lol. Get it?
Costco guys have far eclipsed those dweebs who've been dressing as them. Clearly, Fallon was intimidated by the Costco guys. His constant pathetic attempts to mog them was rooted in a deep insecurity, stemming from the truth that he and they are not so different.
And now you've done, how many booms have you done, do you know?
Couple 100,000.
Couple 100,000. Yeah, 1,000.
AJ and Big Justice hold an uncomfortable mirror up to Fallon's makeup-caked face. Really, he is just like
Who
them,
is that
a
cute
forced
little
smile
lesbian
for
and how
hire.
tight is her pussy?
Thank you, Adam, for the 10.
Shilling whichever product is sat on the sofa opposite him that day. They are all just a shallow cultural sideshow, lacking any kind of depth. Only the Rizzler shone out as a beacon of serene, authentic energy, like a tiny little Buddha statue, indifferent to the cultural decay around him.
I saw a video of him crying and I genuinely felt so bad for him because, like, the kid's famous, right? But you actually forget that he's genuinely, like, 8 years old. It's crazy.
Today.
There's, like, a video of him in, like, a Walmart or something, like, crying for his mom or something. And it's like, wait, that's not a 45-year-old man doing a bit? That's a child?
Late-night TV interviews are short, toothless.
The Rizzler was born in 2017. How old does that make him? Like 7.
Staged, managed segments that only exist to advertise larger cultural products that people might actually pay for. They have been completely destroyed.
He's 35? Okay.
By the podcast.
Tony Soprano.
Which is, for better or worse, the dominant...
He's younger than Fortnite. Oh my god, he was born when Fortnite came out. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god, that's a scary thought, boys. That's a scary... The Rizzler is literally... He was baptized. He was baptized in Greasy Grove.
Cultural enterprise in 2024. Throughout
crypto scam.
November, the Spit on Dick Girls
Rug pull
podcast was comfortably one of the most listened to audio products in the West.
Yeah, I wonder why. Nothing to do with like Jake Paul getting a bunch of bots to bump it up.
World. From a viral street interview to a new media star in a matter of months. And yes, the podcast is cold horseshit, but that's not the point. This is...
No one's listening to it. It's so botted, man. Like, I've said this before, she is literally the definition of an industry plant. She is, 100%.
Wholesome grifting, where if you're a likable enough underdog, people just want to see you win.
Fortnite came out 7 years ago. Yep. Yep.
What it means...
How scary is that?
Means to be famous now has totally changed, and the podcast is now the front page of culture. Of course...
Baptized in Loot Lake.
Nothing exemplifies this better than the Donald Trump episode of the Joe Rogan Experience released at the tail end of October. Scoring 53 million views on YouTube alone, the 3-hour-long podcast was a rambling, sleep-inducing discussion between the two cultural heavyweights. In terms of entertainment value, it was easily eclipsed by the...
I like how Joe always said that whenever he does these podcasts, he makes everyone wear headphones, and he does that on purpose because when you wear the headphones, you can hear the other guests talking, and they purposely do that to get you to stop talking over each other. So there's an actual flow of conversation. And with the Trump episode, no one's wearing headphones.
Two cultural head...
Glaze alert! Glaze!
Heavyweights. In terms of
Welcome to
entertainment value,
WatchMojo.com, and today, if Pyrocynical will not post a Postal 2 video on his main channel, he will jump off his council house's roof and die.
Are you Simon for the 10? I might do a Postal 2 video this year.
It was easily eclipsed by the candidate's appearance on Theo Von, Flagrant, and Aiden Ross's stream. The Rogan appearance was just the finishing line after a marathon of internet media appearances that made a Trump...
Trump did the McDonald's bit because it's his most favorite eatery. I mean, yeah, that could be true. Like, whenever I see a picture of him, like the one on the plane and stuff, he's just got burgers everywhere.
Looks certain to anyone who was watching. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris's appearance on Cool Her Daddy is the perfect case study in suck.
Someone on her team definitely said, you need to go on the Talk to Her podcast. That's the biggest podcast in the world right now. And then one person in that room with a brain cell was like, do not do that. Do not do that.
Ass. Appearing on a podcast that is normally about blowjobs and frat daddies, it was further evidence that the Dems weren't living in 2024. They blew 6 figures building a set in a Washington hotel room just to replicate Alex Cooper's real-life setup in LA. The Dems failed.
That's a 5-figure set. That's a shelf. Some words on the wall. Little jar of sweets there. Potted plant. Pot with no plants in it. Little, I don't know what that is. A little picture frame. Little table. 2 chairs. What in the tax write-off is that? How did that come to 5 figures?
The Dems failed to secure their candidate an interview slot on Rogan, as she wouldn't travel to Texas and didn't want to commit to a full 3 hours, which was revealing. In 3 hours of unscripted chat, you can't hide who you are. The format is unforgiving, often boring, but it's authentic. And more than that, it's goddamn American. You can listen to a podcast on your 10-hour shift, in gridlock on the freeway, and while you're on the can.
Gosh, I wish I could talk to someone who's been in my
Talk to her.
shoes, you know? A black South Asian woman running for president, preferably from the Bay Area.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! Harris campaign's Hail Mary was this self-congratulatory scripted appearance on
This is not SNL.
SNL
My God, my God.
days before the election. A 40-year...
So let me appear on TV's equivalent of r/funny. Surely that'll win me the election.
old institution that no one
Someone in chat just said still lost, by the way.
cares about anymore. It's fake, it's bullshit, it's not fucking real. Modern audiences are sick of being spoken down to and having a finger wagged in their face. Millennials have aged out of cultural relevance. Woke culture is now...
Why would she say that? Why would she, like, mention her race? Like, the majority of Americans are white, right? Or are they Hispanic now? I'm not even sure. But it's like... Oh, it's just so bizarre. Like, you're trying to relate to, like, a certain group, but then you just alienate, like, every other group.
Now just mom culture. It's as kitsch as a live, laugh, love ornament hanging above the kitchen sink. It is a relic of the 2010s. Anyone still...
Do you guys have any other parties in America? Is it just lefties and righties? Because if so, that's pretty sad. You've got, like, independents, right? But they get, like, -2 votes every year.
Waging the culture war from either side is a Japanese soldier still chilling in the backwoods of the Philippines. The culture war is over. 2014 to 2024, done and dusted, because in December...
It's basically just left and right. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated in the UK. Not much, though, because most of our parties are either centre-left or centre-right. Well, that's not true, really. Our left-leaning parties are very centre. Most of our parties in the UK, our major parties, are centre-right. Centre-right to right.
The class war began.
Yeah, do you remember when Kanye ran for president? God, he just cried on a stage wearing a flak vest from Battlefield.
In December, revolution was in the air as regimes fell and reputations faltered beyond repair. The first week was one of them where decades happen, which was a ball ache for me because I was trying to make this fucking video. But at least it forced Nothing Ever Happens bros to finally concede that maybe everything always happens after all. People had enough of getting...
I thought that was going to be that Tesla car explosion outside Trump Towers. Did you see that? And then Elon tweets saying we're looking into it. Like, thank God. Thank God, I was worried you wouldn't.
Fucked around and didn't care about the consequences. This guy revolted against a used car dealership's stingy return policy, deciding to return the car so hard they couldn't refuse. The viral suck job girl released her very own shitcoin, spitting on her audience by pulling out before they could reach satisfaction.
Woke up this morning, hype as can be. Can't wait to see what's under the tree.
Meanwhile, the Rizzler released this Christmas heater to the acclaim of one and, well, me. Honestly, this kid is either going to be John Cena levels of famous forever or dead by his own hand by age 18. But I gotta say, he's won me over. God bless you, little Riz. You'll go far. On December 4th, which happens to be my birthday, a masked man shot United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
Isn't it crazy that the amount of stories he's brought up on this video, the majority, the biggest reoccurring character has been the Rizzler.
On a Manhattan sidewalk in a targeted attack. The killer fled the scene, leaving behind a rucksack full of Monopoly money in Central Park. Later, it was revealed that he had inscribed delay, deny, depose on the bullet casings, echoing the tactics of insurers in their efforts to deny claims and increase profits. The internet reacted to the murder with unashamed celebration on TikTok, Twitter, and even in the comments of the company's Facebook post commemorating the victim. Obviously, cold-blooded murder is wrong. No person has the right to decide whether another person gets to live or die. Only an automatic claim-denying algorithm can do that. After a 6-day manhunt...
Yeah, I felt that joke coming a mile away.
Authorities captured the killer at a McDonald's, almost...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Didn't they catch him at a McDonald's? And then the FBI were like, well, because it was on CCTV, we don't need to pay you anything. Because there was a reward for finding him. What was it, 10K? It was pathetic. It was a pathetic amount of money. 10K is a lot. But to find the most wanted man in basically the Western world...
Exactly 286 miles from the crime scene. And oh my god, he was hot! When his name was revealed, internet sleuths immediately found his Twitter account and realized it was riddled with clues. His header was a cryptic triptych, including his own jacked bod, an x-ray of his back surgery, and the Pokemon Breloom, number 286 in the Pokedex. His account also featured exactly 286 tweets, a number that may or may not be a reference to denial code 286 used by insurance companies when appeal time limits for healthcare claims are not met. But
That's crazy how pre-planned that was. No, it was because the worker reported him to cops, not to the NYPD Crime Stoppers. That's why she didn't get the money. It was also like $50,000, not $10,000. So, because the worker called the cops and not the Crime Stoppers, they managed to weasel out of paying. That's crazy. Oh yeah, let me just call the Crime Stoppers. The fuck is that? You see something, you call the cops.
Luigi wasn't just a Riddler, he was a...
Oh no, I can't. Oh, is that Luigi Mangione over there? Oh no, should we call the cops? No, I gotta make a post on Reddit and see if the mods on Crime Stoppers pick up on it so I get the reward money.
With hundreds of reviews attached to his Goodreads profile. There were multiple reviews for books about dealing with chronic back pain, and one for the Unabomber's Manifesto. If the madness of the case wasn't enough, the public hysteria that followed matched it. Women and gay dudes everywhere publicly thirsted for him. The left, the right, and the politically incoherent celebrated him as a folk hero.
It is funny, I remember Twitter being like, oh yeah, left-leaning killers are attractive and right-leaning killers are incels. That was just their entire argument, apparently.
Hearing of his capture, the audience of The Daily Show reacted with audible disapproval.
Today, they did appear to catch that guy today at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania.
Just a guy going, oh! I mean, he might have been, sounds like he's been sucked off, if anything. Oh! Listen to that noise.
Catch that guy today at a McDonald's in Altoona.
Okay, what kind of moan was that?
Altoona, Pennsylvania. It's true. Look, I'm sorry, guys.
But it was hard to decipher which reactions were dark, ironic detachment and which were genuine support for vigilante vengeance wrought.
He got excited
upon the insurance industry and moneyed elites in general. Either way, it looked like the internet.
I thought that. Dude, I got so confused. I thought that was Little B, the base guard on his windshield there.
Luigi, striking fear into the still beating hearts of healthcare CEOs everywhere. Insurance companies removed leadership pages and images from their websites. Anthem Blue Cross.
You know, I talked about this in ASAP, but if no one caught it, they turned his killing into a level in Cruelty Squad that you could actually play. It was a playable mission, and then you escaped on a little bike.
Blue Shield.
Like a little cycle bike.
Even reversed a policy change that would have limited anesthesia coverage for people undergoing surgeries. The Luigi love it.
Oh yeah, I covered this. They also did something else. A lot of these medical insurance companies, they removed their CEOs off their website. They hid them, almost like thinking that they were going to be next. It was going to be a chain reaction thing.
even leaked into real
Yeah, if any, like, thank God there's nothing like Wayback Machine on the internet.
life as a look-alike contest was held in the Cheeseballs Chalamet Park. And crowds of disaffected ravers danced to Luigi's mugshot. In less than a week, he had become a potent symbol of anti-establishment rage, a killer saint with a six-pack.
Like, he's cute, and people celebrating this. This is a sickness, honestly. It's so
It's kind of genius, though. Like, is anyone else going to do what he did? No, I'll just make TikToks about it instead.
disappointing, but I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And up next, the other big news out of New York, Daniel Penny. A lot of people think he's a hero, and tonight he's not guilty. My take next.
While broadcast media and people with reputations to protect could only express
I do remember people on Twitter that quote tweet other CEOs and be like, can this guy be next?
disgust at this adoration, unable to take the internet celebrations seriously. But as a result, they couldn't ask the real questions that this moment demanded. Like, was he natty or nah?
Oh my God. I remember Greg Doucette. He was so clip farming making this. He was like,
I just want to ask, is he natty?
wait, I gotta watch this video now. I gotta watch this video now.
Luigi. He's like, I don't want to talk about, like, if what he did is good or not. I just want to ask, is he natty?
The murder in the killing of a health insurance executive.
I'm not doing this video to say if he's right or wrong. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about whether or not this guy, if he's actually natural.
Is he natty or not, guys? I need to know. Is he taking any trend?
Cuffs and insult the intelligence of the American people.
The ballad of Luigi Mangione isn't over, and for me, it's the most fascinating story of the whole year, at least in
The question women are asking.
terms of cultural gravity. It was like watching a thermostat burst as the previous era's measurements
You won't play the game because it's 11. Give me $1,000 and I'll play the game tonight.
for acceptable discourse was suddenly irrelevant. It'll be interesting to see if these temperatures can remain as high as we enter 2025.
I declare martial law to protect the Free Republic of Korea from the threat of North Korean Communist forces.
Meanwhile, in the incel capital of the world, President and Supreme Gentleman Yoon Song-yeol attempted to preempt his imminent
Incel capital of the world, by the way.
impeachment by declaring martial law at 10:30 p.m. Hoping, I imagine, that any opposition to his cheeky self-coup would be hogtied by being asleep or being
It turns out he's not natty. Is Luigi not natty?
too smashed on soju to do anything about it. This was the most high-profile and cinematic coup attempt of the year, and in a way, it had everything going for it. Yoon blamed North Korean influences within the country, attempted to suspend the free press, and got the military moving on
Yeah, this was so clever. He calls like a vote to basically put like... He puts a vote in to stay in power. He puts a vote in, the Prime Minister, to enact martial law, and he literally does it at like 11 o'clock at night, hoping no one notices. And then everyone noticed, and they all ran to Parliament to basically shut it down. They were like climbing the fences and stuff.
the old streets and into the National Assembly. Troops attempted to prevent representatives from being able to undo the president's declaration of martial law. Just before midnight, a special forces unit arrived, attempting to make sure no one could enter and remove officials that were already present. But opposition was immediate.
Yeah, they started barricading and stuff. I remember this.
After surviving his stabbing in January, Lee Chae-myung was thrust into the spotlight again, live streaming his journey to the National Assembly building, as he and hundreds of other members arrived to Uno reverse card this self-coup. When Lee Chae-myung did arrive, he was forced to climb the fence. But this is what it takes if you need to manually reboot your country's democracy. With the whole world watching, the National Assembly managed to...
What's martial law? It just means the military can basically have complete control without input from the government. So, like, if you want to say something happens, you can just get the military to do it without having to run it through, like, Congress and, like, votes and stuff like that.
Say the magic words and voted to reverse the declaration of martial law, provoking applause from the press gathered outside.
You know, they've had like 2 more presidents since this guy got kicked out as well, because every president they've had is like defending the last guy. So it's just this chain reaction.
Eventually, the special forces started their retreat as confidence in the coup was lost. A happy ending, where democracy and technology joined forces to resist a tyrannical and moronic self-coup. The immediate reaction of the National Assembly and hundreds of cameras streaming the events to the world made it impossible for President Yoon to control the narrative. In another era, where state TV is the only way anyone learns anything, it might have been possible. But a coup is really just smoke, mirrors, and a show of force. And if your show starts to look like a farce, you're fucked. I would give this coup a solid 4, because he did manage to get the military mobilized, and he managed to declare martial law. But seeing as it was a self-coup, and he already had that power to begin with, I'm going to have to give this a solid 2 instead. In 2025, let's coup better, guys. I believe in you. Luigi and President Yoon weren't the only ones.
Yeah, I thought he was going to talk more about the other presidents that got in, but I think that happened like 2 days ago.
It's making my life difficult in December, as a whole bunch of mad events were firing in my face like they were coming out of this flare-firing Gatling gun thing. In Georgia, street protests got awesome, as the people of Tbilisi gave us some of the most badass scenes of the whole year. This legend and thousands of others were pissed at the pro-Russian government for suspending negotiations to join the EU. This was also after that dodgy election in October. You know, this one. Speaking of elections, and I know we have been speaking of them, Romania became the first country in the world to annul a presidential election result due to foreign intervention via TikTok. Wow, that's fucking mental! Shame we don't have time to talk about it. Emmanuel Macron was smelling like month-old brie when his choice for Prime Minister fell to a vote of no confidence. Manny's position was starting to look untenable, but he reassured the French public by declaring, "I'm not fucking leaving on French TV! Come on, man, quit or do a coup or something."
There's so many people that are in power in Europe that have just been there for like decades. I mean, Angela Merkel, I know she stepped down recently, but like she was in power for like what?
Hey,
over
Pyro,
10 years?
Justin Trudeau, too, teetered on the edge of the abyss as members of his own party urged him to quit after nearly 10 years running the great state of Canada. We done? Nope, not even close. Oh yeah, there was this femcel school shooter in Wisconsin. Let's just have one of those too. Hey, didn't you get...
Oh yeah, that's another story that just went away so quick. I mean, in America, there's basically a shooting every day.
Get the memo, hun? We're shooting CEOs now. Mysterious and massive drones flying overhead in New Jersey.
I just remember Twitter was running with the fact that she was trans, even though it was like pretty much debunked straight away that she wasn't.
Oh, why not? Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it a drone? Or is it a mass delusion amplified by our post-truth landscape where no one believes anything anymore and the only people who seem certain of anything are the ones making shit up? I don't even know nothing no more. Is the room spinning for you too? Why can I taste sound? Oh yeah, I nearly forgot. Syria is officially under new management after a decade of civil conflict and over 40 years of rule by a family.
Crash out? Yeah, it's a crash out. He's definitely taken huge inspiration from Charlie Brooker though, 100%.
Family of toothbrush-headed psychopaths. Yeah, this was the rule by a
holy chinlit family though. That's crazy.
Family of toothbrush-headed psychopaths. Yeah, this was quite big news. History happening before our eyes, actually. Rebels led by Abu Muhammad.
Not a single phone in sight, people just living in the moment.
Mohammed al-Jolani took advantage of Hezbollah's return to Lebanon and Assad's subsequently weakened regime, conducting a 12-day statue-toppling tour of Syria that started with a sunset in Aleppo and ended with a new dawn in Damascus. When the Mandem appeared on state TV, it was official. The house of al-Assad was finally a feature of the history books. Assad himself fled to Moscow, while the country he had tortured and imprisoned was jubilant.
Dude, he got that camo on the AK though, holy.
Even the usually apolitical Syrian SpongeBob was there to celebrate the fall of a
My favorite character in all of media. Syrian SpongeBob.
Tyrant. While there are still pressing questions about how this new Syria will be governed and what its relationship will be with its neighbors and its still occupied territory, well, you know what? Those are questions for 2025. December was a time for celebration and freedom, as those imprisoned by the regime were released. Live streams of palace lootings and compound
You got the Louis bag.
invasion tours were short-lived, as Jolani's caretaker government sought...
Is it actually a real thing, Syrian SpongeBob? It's actually real. We've actually got Syrian SpongeBob in the canon. SpongeBob is proud to be Syrian. We actually have Syrian SpongeBob. Crazy.
to protect the institutions of the state and maintain stability. But before we finish on this story and this year, I want to show you one last video. It's a short clip, one of an anonymous Syrian rebel exploring secret tunnels underneath a regime compound. This simple, otherwise unremarkable moment is important to me personally because he says exactly what I was thinking.
حاليا بلعب هايف لايف.
Because he says
that's not real.
Exactly.
That's not real. That's not real.
حاليا بلعب هايف لايف.
When we watch the world,
I feel like I'm playing Half-Life.
through our phone screens, it can be easy to detach ourselves, to forget that there are
It could actually be a Half-Life 3 reference.
humans on the other side of these images. This guy, whoever he is, doesn't share my language.
I feel like I'm playing Half-Life. So out of all the things that like that is about 3 layers away from him saying skibbity toilet.
Religion or nation, yet we're still bound by a common reference point of exploring the corridors of Black Mesa when we were children.
I just know that when he was doing research for this, he just burst out laughing, farting that.
Is my brother in arms, a man of culture, who also probably spends too much time on the computer. I think we can all relate to him. So how do you conclude a year like this? I'm not sure exactly. What I do know is that it's easy to be distraught about decay and disorder. But it's also futile to fall to your knees.
What does Gabe have to say about this? I don't know. He's on his yacht. Go ask him.
And cry about the things you cannot change. Sometimes it's better to tend your own garden. Sometimes it's better to laugh at the absurdity of tragedy rather than let grief overwhelm you. And sometimes chaos is better than stagnation because chaos is the agent of change. With more madness almost certainly ahead.
I look like a Smurf. Yeah, I've been blue the whole video because he's got a blue backdrop.
Let's prepare to make the most of it. So go well, get wise, and don't let the bastards grind you down. I'll see you in 2025.
I like that. You got married? You got married? Damn. How old is he? Oh, his age isn't listed. If he's younger than me, it's over. If he's younger than me, it's actually over. I've only got 1 year to get married. That was really good, though. I definitely recommend checking Ordinary Things out. He makes very, very good videos. I've watched pretty much all of them. Doesn't show it here because I watched it on my actual account, not the local one.